the European Championships in Helsinki. Oh no, no. Red flag.
12.86 for her. In that first round again, another national record holder with a record not quite up to the qualifying standard. It's a good opportunity to move forward. Every competition for these women will help them gain more experience, find out more about themselves in the event, obviously. Well, pretty good effort there, considering her best is 13.62. She looks slightly disappointed on board that. Well, she probably needs to certainly work on her technique somewhat, but a bit flat there. Good on the board, another 18-year-old. Yeah, indoors. So as I said earlier, every competition gives them a chance to move on. Fifth in last year's European Junior Championships, Valance. Oh dear me, no, that didn't look right. And
vital. And of course, the harder you come down, the harder it is to maintain your balance. Good to see Asha Hansen there in a comfortable qualifying spot in the second.
From Sweden, and all the Swedes have had good support in the stadium here today, and they've seen one or two good performances. She's 17 years old, the youngest in the competition, this young lady. Well, that's a pretty good effort from her. 13.46 is her best, and that might not be too far away from her. That's why she's skipping away from the pit here. 13.44 in the first round for her, and she's right on the board there. Born in Nigeria, just 17 years old, as I said. We'll move into the early stages of this third round. I think 8 athletes now have definitely qualified. You saw the results so far come up at the beginning of this third round, and somewhere around that 13.80 mark. In fact, as I look on my screen here, 13.44, oddly enough, is still in 12th place, which was Olamina, who we've just seen. So she may not be sitting watching the rest of the competition, although I feel sure that one or two athletes will go beyond that. Well, the judge having a close look here, and she gets a white flag there. 13.50 for Markovic. Sorry, 12.78 for Markovic, her previous best. 13.50 is her personal best. So she's probably going to improve on today's performance, but as you can see, they're very, very tight on the board. And she would need to have a very large improvement on her best. There you can see it. Paredes of Spain is in 11th. Olamina of Sweden is in 12th position so far. Quite a gap between them two and the next little section, which is closer up to that 13.85 mark. So they're probably fairly vulnerable, or feeling fairly vulnerable at this moment. Certainly 3 or 4 of the athletes, the likes of Kristiakova, just for instance, Monica Tot of Romania, still with jumps to come, and people who you'd expect to improve. Kristiakova, in fact, with 2 no jumps so far. Or no, sorry, 13.39 is her best. It would be a real shock if she were to go out. Well, we've had a very, very busy afternoon here. Things quieting down somewhat. Only events still going on. This triple jump qualifying coming up shortly. Beginning shortly. Just behind these athletes, you can see there will be the the pole vault. Now this looks like a pretty good jump here from Blazevica. Almost going off the side of the runway there and getting very close to that mark. So this should move her up from her 15th position up into that top 12. Back after 4 years of suspension, Breuer came back onto the circuit last year and found herself as we've progressed through this winter, elevated to the point of favourite and probably one of the biggest stars here at these championships. Went off very, very hard indeed in terms of controlling this race. Wanted to get out in front. Grit Breuer out on the outside. Inside her was Kirikau from Cyprus, De Angeli from Italy, and on the inside Menina from Lithuania. So it was Grit Breuer who strode around that first lap in a very fast 24.36, looking relaxed, looking very, very powerful indeed. Such a nice action. Former East German, of course, 4 years away with that drugs ban, but has come back with a vengeance and is looking very, very good indeed this winter, with a view towards Atlanta this year, and just making sure she qualified here. First two went through, 4 fastest losers, but Breuer it was who won this from De Angeli of Italy in very, very impressive fashion indeed. 52.57, which was easily the fastest of the heat. Grit Breuer stamping her authority in the early stages of that event, and most people will pencil her in as a gold medal favourite.
This is Kayukova, or rather this is Govorova, excuse me, who's in 9th place at the moment, the Ukrainian in the triple jump. Now, has she got the white flag? Yes, gets that white flag. Should qualify okay, unless 4 women can find their best form in the last few jumps of the competition. But to Govorova there, trying to ensure that she qualifies by the Czech 21-year-old, but she's up against some pretty good competition. She can't afford to stray too far off her best form. There are 9 women in this competition over 4 metres, and Britain's Kate Staples is actually the 12th ranked on the start list with 3:85. That new British record she set just a couple of weeks ago in the Great Britain against France match. Now, we've already shown you the best of the women's 400-metre heats with Grit Breuer. Coming up in heat 3 is in lane 4 in this race. Reigning champion, of course, after taking gold in Paris 2 years ago. He followed that up, of course, with the European outdoor gold in Helsinki. And he set off here very, very confidently indeed, Ledejo. Aggressive running through the first half. So powerful now, surely considerably bigger and stronger after spending most of the last 18 months or so out injured and having to be an observer of the sport. But Ledejo here, the sole British competitor after the withdrawals of Mark Hilton and Guy Bullock over the previous 10 days, looked very, very strong throughout his race and did come home a comfortable winner. Controlling things completely here with Silva of Portugal in 2nd place, Wavelet of France putting Silva under pressure, back in 3rd place. But Ledejo just striding home in complete control, glancing over his shoulder, saving as much energy as possible for the next couple of rounds, and running a very, very easy looking 47.84. No problem at all there for Dwayne Ledejo. On what has been a very good afternoon generally for the Britons, young Jason Gardner, the fastest European this winter, didn't qualify in the full start situation he found himself in. Dwayne Ledejo, experienced. Koshkaryov, not the biggest surprise of the afternoon, cleared 5:55 fairly comfortably. That made him a qualifier by right, along with 11 other men, of course. The big surprise, though, was Jean Galfion of France. Probably the favourite here going out. Bochkaryov had relatively easy afternoon's work. That was his only vault of the day. Came in at 5:55, cleared first time, and goes into the final. This man, quite the opposite. Came in at 5:60, had 2 failures to his name up to this point, Galfion. Plenty of experience now, the 24-year-old Frenchman. As far as we know, uninjured, and thus no excuse for this failure. He'll be very, very disappointed indeed. And there it is. Not even close on the 3rd attempt at 5:60. From favourite to non-qualifier within a second. Markov completed or tops the list of qualifiers, if you like, with 5.60. Nick Buckfield comfortably embedded there amongst the qualifiers. That's very good for the young man from Crawley. Everything to go for in the final. And the rest of the qualifiers there completed by Bartel from Norway.
Well, live here in the stadium, pentathlon outdoors, pentathlon indoors, and that's well over that 40-metre mark, so Hallerbeck will be pleased with that, I'm sure. The two events, Hallerbeck, as I just said, there was in 13. Back with a pole vault now in the early stages, 3 metres 20.
Well, the very early stages, Steve, yes, as I said, some 9 women in this competition who have cleared 4 metres and 3 metres 20. Only beyond 1 or 2 women in this competition, one would hope. That's Sadi, they're failing for the second time for Finland.
Pole vault continues. Tomalevsky, 3:45. And themselves on the world stage, if you like, but it is moving along at such a rapid rate. It's very difficult to set any real standards. You can see here that yellow disc for Jason Gardner, who was in lane 3 in this first heat. There was real disappointment for him because he was expected to go through to the final, certainly through the rounds without too many problems. Never had a false start before, Jason Gardner, and here finding it a little bit too much to handle, only coming through in 3rd place there, missing out on a place as the fastest loser as well. Maybe the first false start meant that he got out of his blocks a little bit slow second time, trying to be cautious, and in so doing, Papadakis and Kivela of Finland outside him, taking those first 2 places, and real disappointment for young Gardner. Let's hope that it doesn't affect him too badly and he can come back and show just how good an athlete he is. Been running very, very well this winter. You can see there, 6.79, a couple of metres down on the sort of times he's been running this year. And then in heat 4, we had Peter Karlsson of Sweden lighting up this afternoon for the Swedish crowd with a scintillating performance, 6.61. He has probably firmly established himself as the favourite. Peter Karlsson looking very, very sharp indeed. He'd also had a false start, didn't affect him, and maybe surprising 1 or 2 people, but Peter Karlsson there, 6.61, now maybe the favourite for that 60-metre men's event. We'll take a break now, but don't go away, we'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the arena. Mihal Tea of Romania, next to go in the pole vault with the bar at 3:45. Her first attempt at this height. And no problem whatsoever. Obviously playing safe there. And this is Hautala in the shot in the pentathlon. Reasonable competition so far for Hautala. Not really expected to figure highly in the competition, but obviously not too far down the road from Finland, will want to do well. Wow, that's very good indeed now. She's delighted with that. She has a shot best in multi-events of 13.73 and a little wiggle of the hips there. Who used to do that? Can't remember. Anyway, Hautala, watch this. Very quick, compact, strong. And way over 14 meters. Well, that's a big improvement for her. No wonder she's pleased. Very rude to stick your tongue out, though. Real effort there from the Finn. Look at that, she knew, didn't she? Arms aloft. Yeah, she's pleased. 14.43. Big improvement there for Hautala. No wonder she's got a big smile on her face. Matches the one on the board there.
Yanvarenko now in the vault. One of 3 Russians, and all 3 of them over 4 meters. The Russians and the Germans really with very, very strong trios at these championships. Yenvarenko, 25 years old, was the second in the match against Great Britain behind her teammate. Best of 4:10, Yenvarenko. That holds her right up there in the top 10 in the world this year, and in the top half dozen Europeans. 3:45, way, way clear of that one. Now the bar, bringing the pole, bring the bar down. And that's just something they're going to have to learn about, I guess. Far more of a danger for the women, of course. The men's poles don't reach Gianni, only 22 years old, but the national record holder, if you saw that, with 3:65. And goes clear there at 3:45. That one coming to you off tape.
Back in the shot.
Saunier of France then. 3:92 vaulter. She goes clear at 3:45 to join that growing band of these women. Comfortably clear at that height. She's the fourth athlete now to go clear. That's her opening height. And following her over the bar.
That was Delgado of Spain in the pole vault, and now back in the shot. Gertrude Bacher from Italy. You're in the medals, I wouldn't think at all. But certainly this is a good event for her. Oh, and there you go. Another good effort from Hallebeck. Was a best and heptathlon at 15:41 in the shot, so that gives you an idea of her ability, of her strength. And that one looks to be certainly over 15 meters. Hallebeck, 22 years old, the Swede. Well, 15:37. And very good performance there from the Swede. Acknowledges the crowd, puts her in the lead in the shot. Hallebeck. Nicely indeed for her.
Back in the pole vault, Yenvarenko. Off tape there. Second time clearance was 3:45 for her. Incidentally, Kate Staples went clear at this height without any problems on her first attempt, and is currently in equal first position, but a long, long way to go yet before those step medals are dished out later on this evening.
Nastasi here of Romania. Well, that's a good effort from her as well. And Delgado of Spain there, managing this time to go clear at 3:40. Starting, getting underway is the high jump competition. 175 there is the opening height for the Swede.
That's Emily Fardig of Sweden there. 190 jumper. Yes, plenty of room between her and the bar there. Fardig, Mikhalchenko of the Ukraine next to go. Taking it very, very casually there, jumping in tight. She's a 196 jumper, Mikhalchenko. Debbie Marty next to go. Marty of Britain, been in very good form. The only representative for Great Britain. She's already won the match against France. Second of the 3A's championships, but coping with 175 there very easily. The
Komolevsky over in the pole vault. Young Norwegian, the national record of 365, so getting very close to that. 360 here. .365 is the height she's cleared this winter to take that national record up to that height. She's 18 years old, and you can see the future of this event is with the youngsters. In fact, the French have got 15-year-old and 16-year-old in this event. Lots of 18-year-olds, so a few of them anyway. Well, Tomaszewski on that occasion, finding 360 beyond her. As we come towards the end of this competition. Such a good effort.
Bulgarian, Alexandrova. 7 women came in at 175, all cleared okay. The bar's up at 180 now. And after this we'll go up to 85, then 88 and 90. Beautiful, yes, nice and easy there. Teammate, of course, of Kostadinova, the world record holder outdoors. Alexandrova, no problems at 180, as you would expect with somebody who can boast a 196 personal best. SISEEM of Hungary now. 360 the bar has gone up to, and a failure there for the 20-year-old. Long way off her best. She's one of those 4-meter women.
Julia Bennett in the shot then. The last attempt around the 11.5 meter mark earlier on. Would like to improve on that if she can. Well, probably round about the same, so maybe not too pleased with it.
Yes, Kate Staples did 345 very easily indeed. Kate now at 360. Better known, of course, as Zodiac in TV's Gladiators. Has set 2 British indoor records this winter already, and there is 360 and marches on upwards without any problems. Really nice to see at last British vaulters in there battling after so. Daniela Kopernik then, one of that tremendously strong German trio, 4-meter jumper or vaulter at the age of 22. Very nice indeed. 360 clearance for her. Second in the German Indoor Championship. Very short too, Kopernik, only 168 tall.
Bardik in the high jump now with the bar at 180. This is her first attempt, and the Swedish crowd here obviously would like to see her get over this. She's 18 years old. Tim was saying, 4th in last year's European Junior Championships, and a very nice clearance for her. And she's enjoying this experience. All very, very good experience indeed.
Amel, 22 years old. Very similarly matched with Kate Staples, best of 385, the French indoor champion. Was second in the Great Britain match with France, and 360 there, she goes clear. Well, we're going to be leaving you very shortly for now after some 5 hours of live coverage from Stockholm. I hope you've enjoyed some of our coverage at least, if not all of it. Him early on this morning. Newell, of course, very much a world-class man in the decathlon outdoors, and just testing out the progress of his winter training with some indoor competitions. This is round 2. Newell here going out to 7:57. That's good for Newell. He did extend it slightly in round 3 to 7:63, which was the second best jump of the competition. Just one big group in this heptathlon, no separate long jump groups or anything. You can see Newell there producing a very competent piece of jumping. He is a world-class long jumper, over 8 meters at his very best. And the 7:63 he produced good enough for 967 points. And after the 60 and the long jump, leaving him in second place. Newell producing 3 jumps and getting better with each one. He did, as I say, produce a 7:63 after that with his third effort to scratch up another few points, which could in the end prove vital. Thomas of the long jump competition.
And there you see confirmation of that. Magnussen now firmly in charge of that first place, 1,907 points. Erkki Newell for a jump of 7:23.
Now a chance to look at the 60 meters of Sweden, their national champion this winter at 200 meters indoors, only 22. Katarina Tanu of Greece, only 21 herself, as their national record holder at 60 and 100. She's in the middle lane in lane 3. Then Sidib of France, the French indoor champion at this distance, in 4. Gökhan of Turkey is in lane 5. Bit of twitching in the blocks there, but they get away. Olofsson starting well, but Tanu very, very quick on the pickup. Coming through at her side, Sidibe there, and Sidibe takes second place without any problems. Really cannoning into that padding at the end of the stadium. Good job that's there. But Tanu very pleased with that, looks totally untroubled by that explosive 7.21 second sprint. Sidibe came back at her well, but it was the pickup that impressed me most, Steve.
Yes, Tanu there in the middle, small and compact, but once she gets into a stride, moving very smoothly, very quickly across the surface there alongside her. Sidibe France just about holding on to her, but Tanu showing how many strides forward the Greeks have made, doing very well in the sprint events. She has a clocking this season of 7.22, which is the new Greek record, so she's in good form. And as we've said earlier on in these championships, in these sprint events, well, anything can happen if you get off to a good start, and she will be one of the ones in the frame. Heat 2 contained Bev Kinch, past winner of these championships. Bev, been around for a long time now. In fact, 3 times she's made the final in these European Indoors Championships. She found herself here in Heat 2, lined up against Yanea Perk of Slovenia. Kofa from Greece, in fact, didn't turn up, but you can see an empty lane there. Sukatskaya from Estonia is in lane 4, and Carmen Blay of Spain nearest the camera in lane 5. First 2 to go through, don't forget. And then the 2 fastest times from the 5 heats. And Bev Kinch getting out to a very good start there. Bev Kinch going well here, alongside her Perk also pushing. But Bev Kinch holds on to win this one. So that's good news for her. Continued good news for the British camp here. Bev Kinch trying to get back to the sort of form she showed a few years back. And we'll be very pleased to progress through here. 7.35. The best goes back to 1986. 7.13, but she looked in good shape here.
Yes, Bev Kinch's career has been rather up and down, disappointing in some respects when you think how many years ago she won that European indoor title. Over on the far side there has a good little battle with Perch of Slovenia, comes home there by a few inches to win that one. That'll do her confidence good, and a time of 7:35. Well, she's run considerably faster, Bev, but that's not bad, and it's good to see her after all these years back in good form and progressing through to the next round. Perch goes through automatically as well, and on the near side, Bly of Spain will have to wait and see. Leading European indoor champion, and now not in the final. That was his 3rd and final attempt at 2 meters 19. Disaster for Dalton Grant. Disaster for the British camp. A lot of his teammates will be very, very disappointed for the amiable Dalton Grant with that performance. He's been in such good form this winter, amongst the world's best jumpers already. Has 2:34 to his name this winter, but 2:19 today, just beyond Dalton. He was struggling with a hamstring injury around a month ago. It did interrupt his indoor season, but he's come back from that and won the match, for example, against France. And will be very, very disappointed man this afternoon, Dalton Grant. Line up for Heat 5 of the women's 60 meters. Puka of the Ukraine, very fast indeed. Just 23 years old, young lady with a big future. But Azarashvili in lane 1 beside her. There's Puka. To her left, to our right as we look at it, is Azarashvili, who is now 31 years old. A Georgian who was very, very good a few years back, but has lost some of that form in the last 4 or 5 years. Puka in lane 2 of the Ukraine, 7:11 her personal best, the fastest in the field. Barati of Hungary is in 3, then Luksep of Estonia in 4, Markt of Croatia in lane 5. 5th and final heat. Fast start there from Barati, the Hungarian, in the middle lane. Puka looking very, very relaxed there, just striding through that second half. Really turned it on between 20 or 10 meters and 30 meters into the race. Her start wasn't brilliant, certainly not as good as Barati's, but really from about 25 meters out, she dropped the arms, just cruised home, and that really was perhaps the most relaxed looking victory we've seen so far this weekend.
Well, very impressive running here from the Ukrainian. She looks so relaxed all the way through. She's been in fine form this winter. One of the fastest times coming into these championships, and that was pretty ominous running there. Good start, fast out of the blocks. Pirati of Hungary alongside her on the left as we look there, but really no match here for Puka. Got a fairly swinging arm action, low arms, but generating good power. Coming through there for an easy victory. Not the fastest of the heats, but certainly one of the most impressive. And in the heptathlon, Magnusson managing to maintain his position at the top with the winning putt, or the furthest distance if you like, in the third event of 15 meters and 92. Magnusson now really stamping his authority there. You can see the result there. Dvorak again coming through for second with Anderson, giving the Swedes something to cheer about. But he now has a 97-point lead, Magnusson, after 3 events. There you see it, from Dvorak and Erkki Newell now in third place. Alex Kruger, you can see, moving through after a good shot competition into 8th. So that's how it stands, and that pretty much wraps up what's gone on here this morning.
Vincent, though, of France now, and struggling there at 25 himself. 1 attempt left then for him. 25 men in this qualifying group, an enormous group. The qualifying conditions are 2:27, which of course will be the next height, or the first 12. But the way things are looking for some of these men, I think it may just come down to the first 12. I don't think we're going to get that many over 2:27. Vincent, the 27-year-old French indoor champion this winter, has a personal best, in fact, indoors of 2:27, which he's done this year. So fair enough, I guess, to see him struggling at something just a couple of centimeters down on that. Vincent first in the jumping order, so he's the first man to attempt 2:25. Just to give you an update on the big names. Let me see. By the way, Mark Mandy went out at 2:22, had 3 failures there, the Irishman. But Topic has had a couple of attempts so far, the 1990 European champion, and has passed at this height. Sandblom, well, there's a surprise, the Norwegian, out at 2:22, had 3 failures there. Grant, of course, as I said, is out. Ortiz, 1 failure at 2:25, as we've seen. Steinar Hohen cleared this height first time, no problems for him, although he did have a slight hiccup at one of the previous heights, 2:19, only cleared that second attempt. But Steinar Hohen, the European outdoor champion, looking good at the moment. This is Janku of the Czech Republic, 24-year-old. He's cleared 2:30 this year. Good jumper. Oh, nice clearance. Gave it a little scrape there, but plenty of power. Such is the standard, though, of world high jumping at the moment that 2:30 doesn't really get you a great deal of recognition necessarily on the international scene. And certainly, I don't think we've seen him yet this winter on Eurosport, despite the mountain of athletics that we covered throughout February. 1.93 meters tall, and he's certainly not a thin man. Quite well muscled. Gives that a little shake there, but goes clear on the second attempt. The first man to clear it at the second attempt. Interestingly, Sankovic of Belarus passed his second attempt, either injured or planning to just have a couple more attempts at the next height.
Well, just while we're waiting for the next one to go, just to bring you up to date with the qualification in the women's 60-meter hurdles. You may remember that very fast heat 3. Well, in fact, the 2 fastest qualifiers did come from that heat. Maria Tsoni of Greece and Mariella Donders from Switzerland. They go through. Matusevic here. Well, that's his second failure to 2:25. And slight disadvantage for the jumpers coming from the left-hand side. They don't have quite so much room here. And Tim and I have been chatting with 1 or 2 of the people taking part. in the high jump competition and saying how unfair it is, and he makes his approach from the left-hand side, and the bed is much closer to the actual track itself, and the athlete's not being allowed to have as free a run-up. You can see this side of the track here is very busy, coming in from this left-hand side, and they have very much a restricted approach as compared to those coming from the other side.
Well, next to go, 61, Tavelin of Sweden, heads the clapping. Now he's had one failure at 2:22, then he passed, one failure at 2:25. He's got to clear this to stay in the competition, the Swede. Oh no, not even close. So the 25-year-old goes out, won the Norwegian indoor title, popped over there just to inflict a bit of damage for them. There's also his own national indoor champion this winter, and that's his competition over and out. I'm not quite sure why he's looking so keenly at the replay. Won the needle match, takes place every year between Sweden and Finland. But he'll be a little disappointed with that, Tavelin. It's a 2:29 man at best.
Next scheduled to go is Mika Polku of Finland. And there he is, just 20 years old, Finnish indoor champion. The new personal best this year of 2:27. So this will be a good clearance for him. Well, pretty good attempt there, not too far away. Another athlete coming from the left-hand side. Well, this height beginning to find them out. So far, only two men have gone clear. So Polku will have just one more attempt. You can see here, quite fast approach, but just didn't quite get the height there. And he's got time to develop, one of the younger members of this field, just 20 years old, as I said.
Roden of Germany now. Cleared the previous height, 2:22, second time. Obviously already with one failure at this height, Roden. Only 21 years old. Very, very tall guy, 1.95 m and only 78 kilograms. Second at the German Indoor Championships, this 2:26 man, so entitled to struggle at this. But plenty of support from the crowd, that's nice. No. Yeah, I'm not surprised he's angry. It looked like the height was there. Certainly needs to really attack the third attempt because it's there, no doubt about it. The other German, Tony Riepel, out of the competition already, had 3 failures, Riepel, at 2:19, rather like Dalton Grunt. Incidentally, good news in the field this afternoon for British fans from the triple jump qualifying. Francis Ajapong was the best of the crop in the one qualifying group, 16.97 with his first jump. And that was that, thank you very much, for Francis Ajapong. Next best was Seledchenko, the Russian, 16.80. But Ajapong setting a new personal best, almost 17 meters in the qualifying of the triple jump just an hour or so ago.
Good news indeed. Arturo Ortiz, next to go, 2:25. This would match his season's best so far. Very experienced Spaniard. Well, not able to use that experience here. That's 2 failures now. So he'll want to gather all that experience that he has. Try and pull himself over this 2:25 barrier, which, as we said, is proving rather difficult now. Just the 2 men clear. 1 or 2 are passing at this height, so 2:27, don't forget, is the automatic qualifying height, for otherwise 12 go through. In fact, Tim just tells me that 6 athletes have in fact passed at this height.
Guillaume Vincent then. Third and final attempt to stay in the competition. Third in the France against Great Britain match. Behind, of course, Dalton Grant and Steve Smith. And Ahoan was fourth in that contest. Well, how the balance of power has shifted a little bit in the intervening 2 years. But now Vincent looks to be ready for this third attempt. Needs to maintain his concentration, taking a very, very long run up. He's some, what, 30 meters, I guess, from the bar. Be interesting just how much speed he generates. Oh no, after all that, took off a long, long way from the bar, never gave himself a chance. So he bows out at 2:25, having struggled throughout the contest actually. Look at that, two failures at 2:15. To get over the bar or not, almost doesn't matter.
Well, Stankovic, having passed his second attempt, now decides he will take his third attempt.
Tell you what, I didn't think you were allowed to do that, Steve. I wonder if he fouled his second attempt through the clock counting down. Once you've passed a height, you've passed a height. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know, it's been corrected on the caption, certainly, but he didn't take an attempt. Certainly between, if I can remember, Mantasevich there, third attempt at 2:25. So he goes out. Christian Roden now with his third attempt at 2:25. Crowd building up here in the stadium. Best crowd we've had so far this weekend. Trying to create some atmosphere. No, well, the German goes out there. That's disappointment for him. Just 1 centimetre shy of what would have been
through. And thankfully, Jason John amongst them, Britain's youngster. 2 Britons in this as well. There. They were some 5 or 7 metres into the running. Did you spot anything, Steve? 6 are the favourites for this race. And I think even Jason here, despite his experience, is going to have to work very, very hard to get up in the top 3. The favourites, Carlsen in 2 for Sweden, Blumer of Germany in 3, and Stranius, the second Swede, in lane 4. Field made up by Papadias of Greece in 5. Papadias of Greece in 5, and then the lineup completed by Britain's Jason John in lane 6. Away they go, good start from Stranius there, also Carlsen on the far side, coming through on the near side, Jason John running superb race, but I think Blumer taking it there, good last 15-20 metres from the German, didn't really show between the 2 Swedes until the very late stages. On the near side, Jason John ran a superb first 3/4 of the race. I think Blumer with that charge just catching him in the last 10 metres, but Steve, I actually think Jason has got the silver or maybe the bronze in that one.
Certainly a great run by Jason John there. Mark Blumer has his big crowd here this afternoon. 5:65. Oh, you can hear the groans of the crowd there.
Has worked so hard for so many years to get another medal in European competition. Back in the vault, the competition continues, and that's Stoller of Germany, Michael Stoller. First attempt at 5:65 earlier on today. A lot of people's favourite for this race in lane 2. Tanu of Greece carrying on the good form. Certainly running well this winter. Tim Lobinger now in the vault. And Lobinger there, coming to you off tape with a successful vault at 5.65. Nick Buckfield has had a failure at this height. Lobinger, the only man clear so far at this height. 2 men. They get away okay this time, and Puka got absolutely left in the blocks. Tanu, it looks as though it's going to come through here. Puka struggling to get back, and she won't get back indeed. Over in lane 1, I think the other qualifier there was Barati, and in fact Perch of Slovenia coming through for second. Tanu wins it. Well, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but just watch this. Yes, great start from Barati over on the far side there in lane 1. But Puka looked superb in qualifying in the heats, but dreadful here in lane 2. It's all about Tanu, the Greek here, wins by a mile. Second place, and comfortably so, there is Perch of Slovenia too. So they go through. Third place a little bit closer for third. What a disastrous start there from Puka in lane 2. I did a good job of building her up, and well, I'm not quite sure. You can almost see the strain on her face there, knowing what she's done, and she's desperately trying to get back up there. She did a good job, but probably missed out by a couple of hundredths to the Hungarian on the inside. But Tanu from Greece going well. Back with another Greek athlete, Bazdikis, in the triple jump. So most of the men still in that competition in the pole vault. The final, rolling along nicely now and building up. The bar at 5.65. The women's shot medals decided. The women's triple jump final in its mature stages. And the heptathletes are out for their high jump. Kayukova here in the triple jump. Currently in 4th place. In very tight competition at the moment. Well, Kayukova there not improving at all. And the stadium still filling up, now probably about 80% full. Good atmosphere in here, and confirmation of that result. Tanu winning 7.18. Perch and Barati go through. The Hungarian getting rewarded for the best start in that first semi-final. Puka, the big disappointment, as Steve said, left in the blocks and could never get back on terms. Not over 60 metres. There may be sometimes room for it over the full 100 metres straight out. Second semi-final of the women's 60 metres. Strong one this, with Mertsliakova looking very good, a heat winner earlier on this morning in 7.32. Every nook and cranny snatched up by the media entourage. Taflin, high jump competition going on. Second attempt now at 5.65, and that's a poor one. Good start from Pendergraver on the far side. Mertsliakova very quick away here. And on the near side, Sony looking good for Greece. But a wonderful dip there from Bikar in lane 5, the Slovenian. My goodness, there was so much going on in that race. And Sony there, the Greek, I'm not sure if she's hurt herself or just disappointed that she was passed in the last 5 metres by Bikar beside her. No, I think that's an injury, Tim. She pulled up just after crossing the line. I'm sure it was a calf or a hamstring. Looks like a hamstring. And tears for her, because she was in the frame towards the end there. Oh, back in the vault. Stoller there. Knocks that one down. One more attempt for him at 5.65. Women's triple jump. Kaspikova no longer leads. Pranjeva has taken the lead. We might get the chance to show you that off tape. Kaspikova now finds herself back in second place. Here it is indeed. Pranjeva, about 5 minutes ago. And that was more like it. That's what we expect from her. Leading the rankings this year. Taflin there. That was Erkki Newell, you saw, from Estonia, going well in the high jump, 4th event. Away they go then. Fast starting Petkov of Bulgaria, to their home athlete. Only to be expected, but he'll need it here. This is going to be a new personal best for the Swede. Oh yes! Huge clearance Eriksson there. He looks good with that second clearance at 5.65. His personal best was 5.66. He's just pushed it up a notch. Excellent clearance by Vidane, who moves into second place there by dint of count back. So all the action continuing here. Stay right with us.
So Brits here, which is a disappointment. But a good field. As you can see, lining up there, Kohutek of Poland in lane 1. Igor Kazanov, the veteran Latin.
This competition, in the absence of the top Europeans, perhaps from Britain, like Jarrett and Jackson, and the Americans as well, he wins there quite comfortably from who's beginning to get that sheen of a medal, isn't he? Not necessarily the gold, but he knows it too, and he must be overjoyed with his form in these first two races before that final. His heat and semi-final have gone swimmingly.
Well, this is how the women's triple jump has ended up. Franjeva there from Bulgaria. There's 3 or 4 people left to jump just with a 4-centimeter lead. In fact, I'm just looking across there. They've all completed their jumps, so Franjeva confirmed as a gold medalist in the triple jump. Kospakova, who led for so long, not quite able to snatch it at the death there, but a good competition. Rather a disappointing competition, actually, although the final distance was pretty good. The likes of Asher Hansen not going through. But certainly no disappointment in the pole vault here. Swedes have had plenty to cheer about. Still going strong.
That was Eriksson measuring up for his third attempt at 5.70. As Damasek of the Czech Republic goes clear at 1.99 in the heptathlon high jump competition. Now, Steve and I were looking at the scores earlier. Alex Kruger is in 8th place at the moment after 3 events, but isn't far off 4th place. Hasn't yet come in the high jump, of course. He was formerly a specialist high jumper. And Kruger can pull himself up 2 or 3 places, maybe even 4, with this particular event to finish the first day on a real high. So, at 5.70, third attempt there, Eriksson goes clear. Cannot believe it. The Swedes love it. They're now in second with Vidane and 4th with Eriksson. 4th there because he cleared 3rd time. Remember, Chityakov of Russia went clear 2nd time. But that is marvellous pole vaulting from Eriksson. Martin Eriksson, just 24, setting a new personal best there by 5 centimetres. Relatively small, just 174 tall, but a real powerhouse, and he needs it here. Look at that. Really good shot there of the drive from the shoulders through that last 2 or 3 feet of the climb. And he looks up there at the bar, and I don't think he can believe it stayed up. Second semi-final of the men's 60-meter hurdles. There is the lineup. Pēters of Latvia, just 22. It looks very good in qualifying so far. Has already been racing and training outdoors down in South Africa, and the benefit of that evident at these championships. That's beside him, Belokon of the Ukrainian indoor champion, and a 1340 man outdoors, although that was in the 94 season, but a very, very good hurdler over the full 110 meters outdoors. The Latvian Pēters raced over 110 meter hurdles indoors recently in Tampere, where he was second to Tony Jarrett, and in good form. Bizbas of Greece. Well, we've seen so many of the Greeks performing superbly in their power events this weekend. This man's the Greek indoor champion, 27 years old. He's in lane 4. Beside him, Lichtenegger of Austria. Another youngster, 21 years old, 7.57 his best. That was this winter. Won the meeting in Karlsruhe. some 4 or 5 weeks ago. And then Jonathan Unsenger got through as the fastest loser, the 22-year-old Belgian. Winner at Ghent, but a bit of an erratic indoor season. Didn't look too good in his heat. We'll be looking for a much improved performance here. And we'll need it too if he's to progress to the final. First 3 go through. Kislik in 1 then for Russia, Belokon in 2 for the Ukraine. There's Peders in 3 for Latvia, Bizbas of Greece in 4. Look for a fast start from him. Lichtenegger of Austria in 5, and Senger of Belgium in lane 6. Recall there, but wasn't evident he start. Just going to say, Steve, as you say that, Kislik there has had a disc raised on his starting block. So the Russian in lane 1 with 1 full start to his name. As you say, wasn't initially evident. Belokon in 2, Peders in 3, Bizbas in 4, in 5 is Lichtenegger, and Senger, the Belgian, in 6. Very long hold there in the blocks. Going well at the moment is Lichtenegger, the Austrian, dragging and Senger with him, the Belgian on the near side. Coming back in the middle there was Peders, the Latvian, in lane 3. He may have snatched it, but all the initial running was on this near side. Lichtenegger started very fast, and a halfway was certainly in the lead. And Senger went with him and ran much, much better just now than he did in his heat earlier on this morning. Here it is again, but I think maybe Peders of Latvia snatched it.
Well, he did this morning in qualifying. He comes through very late. Look how far down he is on Lichtenegger here, and then Senger, the 2 men you'd expect to go through. He even has a look across there. But the big man finishes fast and certainly qualifies. I think Lichtenegger just holding off Kislik over on the inside. But he's a bit of a surprise package here.
Well, you can see the Greek there, Bizbas, full of muscle. We'll give you the result after the break. Cup champion and world champion last summer outdoors. World junior record holder. She's got just about the full cupboard at home, and it's just started creaking a little bit more.
The men's heptathlon continuing. Munkachi from Hungary. Competition still being led incidentally by Magnusson, obviously after those 3 events. No change yet, but he had a couple of jumps early in the competition. Well, that was off tape for you there. Failure of Lobinger. Back to Munkachi, currently 6th after 3 events. And failure for him there also. So disappointment for him. Kovic from Yugoslavia in lane 1. Dursun Özner of Turkey in 2. And Helena Fuchsova is in lane 3. And the tougher draw for Ayana Terlier, who's probably the favourite to go through. There's Dursun Özner, 25-year-old Turkish record holder. Ran a national record last year. Helena Fuchsova, 30 years old now, as we pop back across to see Magnusson with his distinctive face, shaven face, and back across to the pole vault.
Yes, in the vault, looking there at Eriksson, recording a failure at 5.75. His first failure, though. Nobody clear at this height yet.
You're looking at Helena Fuchsova in lane 3. Outside her, when we get the chance to have a look, is Tellier, who I said will probably be the favourite to go through here. Tellier been in good form. There she is, just 20 years old, prodigious junior. Very good over 400 metre hurdles and doing well on the flat here during this indoor season. A new national record she ran just recently, 52.13. Grit Breuer, of course, coming up in the next semi-final. She's probably the favourite to win this event. But Tellier, I'm sure, will not give it up without a fight, the youngster. Sivkovic in 1, Osner in 2, Fuchsova here in 3, and Tellier in 4. Well, they get away first time here. Tellier on the outside, going away hard already. Fuchsova inside her. The other three really haven't changed too much in terms of the stagger. 2 laps of the track, of course. Tellier going well on the outside, and will want to take that advantage as she comes round to hit the bell here. A big advantage indeed, a very fast opening, 24.3. Now, is she going to pay for that? Fuchsova from Czechoslovakia starting to close down. Maybe the youngster went out a little bit too quick. That is exceptionally fast for women. 24.3. Fuchsova now coming up on her shoulder. The youngster, though, is nothing if she's not a battler, and she's fighting hard here, the Romanian, to hold off the Czech. Fuchsova working hard. Tellier digs in deep. Hangs on. 52.3. Good run. A tough run. Dear me. 24.3 and then 28 seconds and dying. But Ionela Tellier showing the strength and the commitment she has. Just watch this.
Well, for a youngster, Steve, very, very determined run, as you said. My goodness, she was tying up about 60 or 70 metres out, battling home. The Czech just unable to get past here. 52.3, and of course those times affect their lanes in the final. That was what she was going for. A fast time, as we see Vidane going at his second attempt at 5.75. No, one really feels as though perhaps the wind has gone out of their sails now after a couple of personal bests, the Swedes. Stay with us.
Aslan. Wow, good clearance from Erki Newell.
2 big names outside Benesova, as I said, in lane 3. Grit Breuer, world number 1, ran a very relaxed looking 52.55 in her heat. And outside her, can you believe, the world number 2 on paper this year, Chebykina of Russia. 51.35 this winter she's run, as against Breuer's 51.14, the world's leading mark. But of course, this slight seeding anomaly has come up because of the times they ran in the first round. Only the winner goes through by right, and 1 fastest loser to the 4-athlete final. So you can expect some real fireworks from Breuer and Chebykina as Eriksson takes another attempt there at 5.75. That's his second attempt, but back on the track. The stadium goes from a lot of noise while that Swede was vaulting to almost complete silence as these women are called to their blocks. Heat 2, or semi-final 2, Breuer in 3, Chebykina in 4. Again, a very long hold for these women. Away they go. Chebykina quickly up and out of her block. Breuer with that beautifully smooth rolling style of hers, quickly into her running, and the pair out in front beginning to open up a bit of daylight now on the Czech in lane 2. That's Benesova. Breuer is up very quickly on Chebykina. The Russian looks surprisingly flat-footed and chunky alongside the German there as they go through 200 meters. Watch the clock, this is fast. 24.18 there for Breuer. Now is Chebykina going to try and challenge or just settle for second place and a qualifying time? Surely she can't be that confident. Breuer driving hard down the back straight with that barrel-chested style of hers, pushes into the final bend. Chebykina still within striking distance. The battle behind for third place, but neither of them can make the final. Only a second placer can do it. And as Breuer comes home here, she's going to win by some 3 or 4 meters. 51.33 look. Chebykina about 3 meters down, and that from Breuer is a time that only she has managed to beat so far this winter in the world. 51.14, her year's best. Shebekina 51.35, second on the world rankings, and Breuer there easing off to a 51.33 clocking. Very little doubt for my money where the gold medal is headed, but wasn't that impressive.
Very impressive running by Breuer there. As we come back to Boncaci in the high jump in the heptathlon, 199, third attempt for him. Oh yes, good clearance. Well, that's pleased him, and this would please the Swedish crowd if Sweden could go over here. Well, no, but it's been a fantastic competition by the Swedes. Sweden currently holding on to second place in that pole vault. Still, medals haven't quite been decided as they work out the count back there, but we'll bring you that as soon as it comes through. Talia, definitely the win.
Lobinger then, at the moment in 6th place. Now, he passed at 5.70, he's got to get this. Third attempt, 5.75. Oh no. Well, he'll be disappointed with that, the German. It's within his ability, but not on this occasion. And it's all about doing it under pressure on the big occasions.
The other athlete we hadn't seen there, De Angeli, from Italy, just 20 years old. She's a silver medalist in the World Junior Championships over 400 hurdles, so again taking the advantage of getting some flat speed in the indoor season here. Something we've seen Sally Gunnell doing, of course, in the 400. Let's hope that her preparations continue to go in the right direction towards Atlanta. And this young lady here in lane 3, Kotliarova, just 19 years old, got a personal best of 52.23 already this year. I'm surprised that no judges have made her take her fingers away from that white line, but there you go. So where they go then, two women in the outside lanes there, Kotliarova and De Angeli, the two youngsters in the field. Kostivalova from Czechoslovakia running them down already, but Kotliarova has passed De Angeli, the Italian. And it will be between these three. Don't forget, just the winner will go through, but it's Kotliarova, the youngster, run a very good first 200, put herself in charge here. Kostivalova behind her. De Angeli, the Italian, just sitting back at the moment, but setting a good pace at the front. Kotliarova stretching out, got a nice action. Kostivalova trying to hang on to her, looking to fight off the top end, to attack in the home straight. Will she have anything? Kotliarova, though, looks strong. The youngster just striding away there. Very good run indeed, almost breaking a personal best. Well, that gives some indication of how quickly she's improving. 52.30 to 700th of the coming years.
Well, interestingly, Steve, that winning time by the Russian exactly the same as Talia's in the first semi-final of the three, but she did it with consummate ease compared with the young Romanian.
This is the heptathlon. Patrick Anderson, 199, third attempt
at the moment. Cleared 5.70 at the second attempt. Now he's passed 5.75, as you can see. And Chizyakov, as I said, playing a dangerous game here. Has ensured himself a medal, which is more than he did after his first failure at 5.70. But the bar now moved up to 5.80. And this, even for him, is asking a lot. His personal best, just 5.81. Well, a lot was asked, and he came back with more in reply. You may well point your finger at the sky, because I suspect that could have been the winning jump. Very, very confident vault there from Chizyakov. In the second semi-final, forgive me there, Ledejo in lane 3. Dobryansky here, the Russian, will be in lane 1. Just 17 years old. Second in the Russian Indoor Championships, but 47.65 indoors this winter. Carlos Silva, well, he met Ledejo in his heat. Might be a little disappointed to have to meet the Briton again, better known as a 400 hurdler. over in the vault. This is a Markov. First time failure there at 580. Back on the track, Ladejo. Still looking very, very confident. The Londoner. And you can see him there, almost breaking into a smile, relishing this opportunity to display his talents. The reigning European outdoor champion, the reigning European indoor champion. Outside him, Tom McGurk, the Irishman, who has done well to get this far. Away they go then, Dobryansky, the youngster, having to cope with that very tight bend there in lane 1. Silva's gone off fast, has made up a little ground on Ladejo already. Now the Briton getting into his stride and closing up on McGurk as this second bend stagger unwinds. Coming into the straight now, surely Ladejo will want to hold that pole position, and he does. Silva boxed on the inside there with McGurk outside him. Ladejo in total control, 22.12 at 200 metres. Striding along, still looking very relaxed, Ladejo. McGurk in third place, biding his time, or is he hanging on? Ladejo beginning to open up a bit of a gap on Silva. Dobryanska, the youngster, back in fourth place, but he's done well to get this far. Stretching towards the line is Ladejo, winning by some 4 metres there from Silva. The time, well, a little more respectable, 46.74 than he produced in his first round race. Indeed, a full second and more faster.
For Karyoff in the pole vault.
Qualifying for the women's long jump, that is. Again, a very, very big group. 6:45 the qualifying distance, or the first 12. That's the German Claudia Gerhardt, taking just the second jump of the competition.
And the second semi-final as the men's 400 just lining up now. Julian Vokel from Germany. There he is. Very open semi, this one indeed. 22-year-old German there. You can see his personal best, 46.41. Next to him, Pierre-Marie Hilaire from France. And French commentators alongside us here. I reckon he will get through here, but let's wait and see. Italian there, Fabio Grossi, 28 years old now, Grossi. Won a bronze medal in the Italian relay squad at the World Indoor Championships last year. Now this man, Kent Ulyat, on the outside there, 23 years old. What a chance this would be for him. Probably got the best semi here if he wants to get himself through. Only the winner, of course, will be tough. Kent from Southend, computer programmer. Apparently coached by his father, by Mail. So he's in the outside. As we go back to the pole vault. The bar 580, and that is a clearance there for Berge Karyoff. Semi-final of the men's 400. Just the winner to go through. On the outside, Kent Ulyat trying to be, oh dear, he stumbled over something there. I thought I was going to say he's pulled up, but he's kept going. Not sure what happened there. Maybe it was just coming off the bench so quickly. He's always tough out on the outside lane there, but he definitely stumbled. And it's the Italian Grossi now, who tries to hold the inside. Ulyat, wow, dear me. Now that's going to be interesting to see what happens here. There's a yellow flag gone up from the judge. Whether that was Ulyat pushing in or whether it was Grossi pushing out. A little bit of both, I think, but the Italian may find himself in trouble at the end of this. Meanwhile, Hilaire from France comes up on his outside, and the big German, Julian Vokel, trying to come through, but it's the Frenchman, Hilaire, who comes through to win that one, 47.19. Kent Ulyat just crossing the line there. Dejected, disappointed, full of drama, that race. He was in trouble early on, not quite sure what happened there. Stumbled maybe slightly coming off the first bend, and then when he tried, he'd worked hard to get back into a good position. When he tried to come in, as they went into the first bend on the last lap. Grossi was having none of it and pushed him out. Let's have a look at this.
Well, Steve, to be fair, although Grossi maybe gave him too hefty a shove, I'm not sure that Kent actually had enough daylight in front of it. Look at that, tries to move in, and he's right alongside him. The Italian gives him a very heavy shove, and Kent, not a particularly tall guy, really suffered out into lane 3, and in fact ended up jogging across the line. 3 yellow flags went straight up from the judges, but I think that even when Kent sees that, he'll see that there really wasn't the space. He wasn't on the Italian like that. Maybe the Italian didn't have a great deal of option.
Well, we'll wait to see. Hurricane Newell. 2:02 is the height of the bar now in the men's heptathlon here. 4th event of the day for them. 2nd attempt here. And that's more like it. Hurricane Newell. Well, he gets 10 out of 10 for the celebrations. And about 9 out of 10 for his clearance there. Currently in the pole vault, this is how it's looking.
Yes, 3 men clear at 580. Chistyakov in the lead by dint of that first time clearance. Long jump qualifying underway though. This is Vazi of Hungary. I can tell you that Gerhardt of Germany qualified comfortably with her first jump, 6:52. Vazi getting the red flag though there, as you can see, well into the plasticine. Denise Lewis will be jumping in a couple of jumps time for Great Britain. We'll need something very close to her lifetime best to qualify Lewis. Automatically with 6:45. Next to go in this high jump, Munkachi, and 2:02 beyond him so far. Come on, let's have some support, he says. Good big crowd in the arena now, and because of the steepness of the banked seating, more of the crowd, a bigger proportion of the crowd are close up to him. This is Markov in the vault. Well, first attempt at 5:85 there for him. Chistyakov sitting this one out. He's in first place. Back to Munkachi. Taking his time over this. The crowd giving him the support he's asked for. Oh, beautiful clearance. He really attacked that one. A lot of acceleration in the last 3 or 4 strides. And more points notched up for him. Alex Kruger still yet to come in. And it was Saber who won that heat. He's also in this race. So several repeat matchups here. Zadoinov of Moldavia. He was in qualifying. And 48.7 manual earlier on in the season. Then Suchek of the Czech Republic, 47.13 man. Zviklins of Latvia is in lane 3. And then Saber of Italy in lane 4. Holds an Italian national record indoors, 46.36. Looks very good, did Saber, winning his heat in 47.29. Indeed, comfortably the fastest of the first round heat winners. So Doinov only 4th in his heat, but both the fastest losers coming from that race. 47.64, but as a result of that, he has been given that relatively poor lane draw, lane 1. Saber, the Italian, given the luxurious outside lane with those sweeping wide bends, significant advantage over lanes 1 and 2. That's Zviklins of Latvia in 3. But Saber, class apart really against these other 3. Away they they go then. Zwicklin's has started fast already, closing the gap on the 22-year-old Italian on the outside, and Zdoinov too has pushed hard down the back straight there to pass Souček of the Czech Republic into the straight now. Has Zaba done enough? Yes, he has, and more to hold the pole position. 22.08 at 200 meters, marginally faster than Ladejo in his race. Down the back straight, Zaba already had a quick glance over his shoulder there. He's got a gap of some 3 meters over Zwicklin's into the final bend, and surely he's not going to be caught now. The others have got everything to go for. The time's vital for that fastest loser spot, but Zaba very, very impressive indeed. He's going to be the biggest threat to Ladejo. Second spot there snatched by the Czech, Souček. But they were 4 or 5 meters down on the Italian, and again, very, very impressive, easing off in the last 20.
Well, we're seeing a lot of this man, Sandor Munkaci, as he now approaches the bar, which has been raised to 2 meters and 5. The Hungarian Alex Kruger still hasn't decided to start yet, although I can see him starting to put his vest on, so he must be in action fairly shortly. But Kruger has yet to attempt any height at all in the high jump. Of course, this is a very good event for Kruger. Munkaci was in 6th place coming into this event and fails there at his first attempt. Well, lots more to come shortly. We'll take a short break. Former European junior champion over 100 back in '89, Alenka Bikar in lane 5 from Slovenia. New personal best this year, 7.31. Shouldn't really figure with that sort of time, but times really haven't been that fast. And Barati took advantage of the surprise dismissal, if you like, of Puka from Ukraine. It was Barati who ran her out, really. Well, this young lady here, Tanu, maybe chance of gold here. Was very unlucky last year not to qualify for the final in Gothenburg. She was in the same semi as Torrance, Otti and Privalova. So no great shame there, of course. 3 biggest names in women's sprinting. So can Tanu come out of the shadows here? City Bay of France alongside her. Over in lane 1, Metlikova, the experienced Russian. Away first time, then Tanu indeed getting a good start in lane 3. It's Tanu from Greece coming home for gold. The Greeks are going to get one. Sidibe from France gets silver. Not sure about third, but no doubt at all here. 7:15, a very fast time for Tanu, very quick indeed. The Greeks have been going very quick right throughout these championships. And there's the flag being waved, and why not? They don't win too many medals, of course. Vazdikis has done well in the long jump yesterday, and now Tanu coming home with a gold.
Well, yet again, running the perfect race here, the Greek. Started fast, ran faster through the second half of the rest of them, indeed stretching away towards the line. Sidibe of France running beautifully for that silver, and maybe in lane 2 there, Perš of Slovenia taking the bronze medal. Good dip from her, very, very close for the bronze medal, but no doubting the winner. Slightly less convincing, if you like, silver medal run from Sidibe, very close for third, but look at that, a good meter gap there from Tanu back to the rest.
Well, she got out of the blocks very well, compact, small, but very powerful indeed. Just look at that arm action. Very determined also. Sidibe of France, a little bit more rangy in her action. And Perch there, I think, just getting the bronze medal. Good run from her to run out the Russian. But Tanu was a long way ahead. So she enjoys her lap of honour and the flowers.
So Tanu then completes a victory lap after the women's 60 final. Markov yet to do any celebrations. 2 failures at 5.85 so far for this man. Currently in second place in this pole vault final. The lead still held by Chistyakov by dint of that first time clearance at 5.80. Markov only clearing it second time. Third time now, and he goes over. Markov then takes the lead. Now Chistyakov has passed at this height, which would have represented a new personal best for him anyway. And the gauntlet thrown down once more by the Belarus man. That's a wonderful, ideal way to respond. Third time clearance too. Very mental jump that, if you like. So at the age of 20, Markov could be heading for European Indoor Championship gold medal. New personal best there for him, 5.85. It was 5.80 prior to this competition. He leads then. Chistyakov shunted back to second place, and in the bronze medal position at the moment, the other Russian, Bochkaryov. We're going to a quick break now as you see confirmation of that women's 60 result.
So, 15 laps, 3,000 meters. Fernando Ribeiro, the defending champion, likes the front run, as does this young lady, Sarah Vedland, and she's already gone off to lead that second group there. And Ribeiro leads the first group, so no surprises here. I would think that we will be mentioning these two names through most of the duration of this race. And Vedland has gone off fairly quickly into a lead. Ribeiro probably quite happy to let her do that, as long as Vedland makes it a decent pace. I think Vedland here knows that the home crowd wants to see her make an effort, and this is the best way for her to run also, as long as she doesn't get too excited, but she's quite good at setting the right sort of pace. Suffer from anorexia in her earlier career, as I said, a prodigious talent. Erky Newell, well, failure for him there, and he always looks as though he's going to hit somebody when he knocks the bar off. Keep out of his way. Sarah Vedland then leading them round. Ribeiro in second place. Bitzner Ducret from France currently in third spot.
Well, little suit for Ribeiro just fine. It'll clear out some of the athletes at the back of the field. 67 seconds there at 400 metres. Very fast from Vedland. I'm not sure she'll keep this up much longer. Certainly Ribeiro can. And it's the nature of many of Ribeiro's races nowadays, Steve. She lets somebody else lead for the first 3 or 4 laps if it's outdoors, maybe 6 or 8 if it's indoors, and then decides to accelerate away from them. And it's that acceleration of an already healthy pace, which is her trademark nowadays. And she does believe very much in a solid pace for the second half of the race, maybe the last 2/3 of a race, to burn off the opposition. Doesn't like sprint finishes.
Well, I would think that Ribeiro would be able to cope with what most of the people in this field could offer, to be honest, even if it was down to the last 400 or so. Altinu from Romania moving up on the outside, taking closer order, but a very fast first 400 or so. Women's long jump continuing over on the far side. But it's this race which is maintaining interest for this big crowd in the stadium here this afternoon. Ribeiro already beginning to get twitchy on Vedland's shoulder as that 400 meters slows down considerably after that very fast 67 opening quarter mile. And as you would expect, Ribeiro not going to hang around, not going to let the pace drop too much, just glides into the front. Bitzner Ducret sitting behind Vedland, waiting to see whether the Swede tucks in behind Ribeiro, as indeed she does.
Bochkaryov then in the vault. Oh no. Won't be pleased with that one. First time failure at 5.90 there for him. He's in the bronze medal position at the moment.
Through 1,000 in 2:55, that's pretty fast. That would bring them home if they carried on at that pace, quite obviously, in a time round about 8:45, which, if nothing else, would be a new personal best for Ribeiro. So, good pace being set here. Now, Vedland, is she going to pay for that early pace, because she's already slipped back to third? Bitzner Ducret, the only one at the moment, trying to latch on to the back of Ribeiro, and this will be hard indeed, because Ribeiro will just grind them out. 9 laps to go, still a long way, and there's a little gap starting to creep between Bitzner Ducret and Vedland. That will worry the crowd. Been very supportive of all of the athletes here, but whenever a Swede is in town, they become rather vociferous, as you'd expect. Just behind Vedland there is Dominguez of Spain. So Vedland will have to work hard, but Bitzner de Cree being very brave indeed in going with Ribeiro, because you think that the chances of beating Ribeiro must be slim, but if she goes with Ribeiro and then dies, she may lose a medal. But on the other hand, if you're positive, she's probably thinking, if I go with Ribeiro, she might drag me far enough away.
Well, Bitzner de Cree running a sensible race, Steve, I think in these middle stages of the race, being dragged away from the rest by Ribeiro. I'm sure she won't be able to stay there, but we'll hope to hang on for the latter stages to a medal position, better known as a 1500 runner, of course. So it's in the last 1000 that the questions will really be asked of Vedland. Has just got to keep plugging away there and second attempt at 590 for the Russian. No, and look how angry he is with that, cursing himself on the way down, but he feels that it's there. He's got to clear it to get back the lead.
Well, a great race in store here. Bitzner de Cree is having a cracking job, or doing a cracking job. Just some daylight beginning to appear. 7:51 that last kilometre, that's fast.
You say 8:39 by Ribeiro. If anything, she accelerated over the last couple of laps. That final kilometre very similar to the middle split. 2:51, 2:52. Her last 2 kilometres were running, and 8:39 puts her right up there in the all-time list indoors over 3,000 metres. It was a solo run too. It really is quite astonishing, and we could well have just been watching the next Olympic champion at work over 3,000 metres. She'll take an Olympic title at 10,000 as we see Markov there at 5 metres 90, failing yet again. Well, he still leads by dint of... Contrasting physiques then, and contrasting fortunes for these two. Vedland chased and chased through the second half of this race. A little Swede, very, very thin, but it was good enough for a silver medal, her race. Ribeiro, short, stocky, powerful, else can live with it. Her outdoor races are a case of patience, really. People tend to stay with her for longer when she's on the Grand Prix circuit or in major championships outdoors. But here she had the beating of that field by a huge margin from fairly early on. And really it was just her against the clock in the latter stages.
Well, just to reiterate that was faster than Ribeiro has ever run outdoors, never mind indoors. So a cracking run by her. And Vedland, a very good.
But Tano very confident of victory. Before I came to Stockholm, she said I was sure to run something around 7:15, 7:18. To me, this title is no surprise. Please don't forget that I ran 11:09 last year outdoors over 100 metres. Why weren't the queens of Europe in sprint, Privalova or Pashka, here? I don't know. Maybe they're preparing for the Olympics. Well, I think she can be fairly certain that is exactly the case. The bronze medal going to Dejanea Pech of Slovenia, 7:28, just 3/100ths behind Sidibe, but significantly 1/100th ahead of the fourth placer Mertzlakova of Russia, 7:28 to 7:29. But gold for Greece here, making it a wonderful championships for them. They really have looked good in the sprints and in the long jump as well. So Tanu then acknowledges the generous applause of this Swedish crowd and hugs and kisses for the officials involved in that presentation.
Then Ribeiro winning the gold medal in the third fastest time ever to 3,000 metres. An excellent run for her. Vedland also a cracking run in second place there. There's a new personal best for her also. I think a few personal bests being broken in that race. even back down.
Isyakov now, with his third and final attempt coming up at 5 meters 90. Pressure on the young Russian, reigning world junior champion, remember, trying to take his first senior title here. But passing at 5.85, had to sit and watch Markov clear that third time. Now 5.90 required. No. And look at that, he knows he's misjudged it here this afternoon. The tactical game involved in the vertical jump playing against him on this particular occasion. And that's a nice gesture.
Dentseva from Russia. Currently lying third there. That one, in fact, was off tape.
For the USSR, and in 1992 for Latvia. Competing here for Latvia, he's the former European record holder of this distance with 7.42, Kazanov, and really looked very impressive in qualifying. Indeed, had the fastest time from the semi-final, 7.65. Tough little old race ahead of him, though. This is Kislik, just 19 years old, the Russian, third in his semi-final in 7.74. Baltzer, fastest on paper in this race this winter, indeed the fourth fastest in the world this year with 7.53, but unable to find that form just yet. He was well beaten by Kazanov in the first semi-final. Then the Latvian, very close to his year best in the semi-final. Nice to see him out here battling it out. See him getting beaten pretty convincingly most weeks on the indoor and outdoor circuits when he's up against the likes of Jackson, Jarrett and the Americans, but really on song this weekend. Guntis Peders, another Latvian, his teammate there, also winner of the semi-final. Indeed, the pair of them cleaned up in the semis. 7.70 Peders' time, slightly slower than Kazanov's. He's in lane 4. Then two Belgians complete the lineup. The first of them, Jonathan Nsenga, just 22 years old. Didn't look too hot in his first round race, but much better in his semi-final when he was second in exactly the same time as the winner Peders in 7.70. And then Elizabeth, 24-year-old, in lane 6. Belgian indoor champion this winter, 7.77 in his semi-final for third place, the slowest of the qualifiers.
Markov, no, well, this looks as though the gold medal is now going to be left to be taken from him, possibly by Butch-Karyoff, the only man left in the competition with 1 vault left at 5.90.
There's the scene then for this men's 60 hurdles final. Kislik of Russia in 1, Baltzer of Germany in 2. Then a couple of pairs, Kazanov and Peders of Latvia in 3 and 4. Senger and Elizabeth of Belgium in 5 and 6. Good start from Kazanov, and Senger too, getting away well in lane 5 for Belgium. Kazanov steaming away with this one though at this stage, and look at that, plenty of time to punch the air. 7.60, the winning time for Kazanov, winning it there by about half a metre, and I think even Peders maybe taking the silver medal, his teammate there. They looked like that sort of, to be in that sort of form in the semi-finals, both winning their semis. But that is lovely to see. Kazanov, 6 years after winning the title for the USSR, takes a second title for the Latvian country, whose flag he now carries, and his third European indoor title in total. Look at that. 7 meters out, punching the air. A long way of Colin Jackson's world record, but that's immaterial now. The gold is his.
Well, that's good to see, isn't it? The old man teaching the youngsters how to do it. Kazanov here, putting his fist up a long, long way out there. And Peders and Nsenga really fighting it out for the silver, possibly just going to Nsenga. We'll have to wait to see the photograph. Disappointment there for Baltzer over in lane 2, the German, who was very fast coming into these championships. But Kazanov, if nothing else, is experienced. He's been here before, he's won it twice before, and I doubt he's celebrated quite in such a fashion. Alex Kruger, 2.5, yes. Well, that's good news for Kruger. In fact, the clearance is 2.8. already cleared 2.5, but the bad news for him is there's a slight limp there, as you can see, so hopefully not too many problems for him. And this is how the qualifying is going in the women's long jump. You can see then, 6th place, Denise Lewis has already qualified, which is good news.
Yes, Denise Lewis, 6.15, her opening effort, and then 6.49, taking her beyond the 6.45 required to qualify by right. And indeed, that's a personal best for Lewis indoors at 6.49 in round 2. Good jump from her.
First heat lined up now for the women's 200. It's Senga getting the bronze ahead of Balzer of Germany. Disappointment for the Germans there. I'm sure they felt as though they would come to these championships and do better in that event. But it's the Latvians who've come away with a 1-2.
And result of the pole vault there, Markov taking the gold medal for Belarus, holding back the Russian challenge. Look, Shishchakov and Bochkaryov may have been fancied to take the gold, or one of them certainly, but they had to settle for silver and bronze. And Nick Buckfield in that competition coming up a marvellous 7th with 5.55, will be disappointed not to have hit that 5.65 mark, would have been a new British record.
Lemeshevskaya from the Belarus there in this qualifying competition, the women's long jump, and starting to get close to the mark now. For her, she's in 17th place. She saw an improvement there probably for her on her previous mark, but not getting close to that red flag at the side there, which signifies where they have to reach. Certainly very close on this occasion though, and that could well be enough to push her up towards the qualifying mark. We saw at 6.30
attempting 2.14. Confirmation there at the bottom of your screen. And let me see, the gap between him and 3rd place, well, it's a sizable margin, some 80 points or so at the moment. Erkin Newell in the bronze medal position.
Quick look at Sinyukova in the long jump qualifying. And she's currently in 12th place now, so really needs a bit more then. Looks as though she's got it.
Kruger at 2.14, no, but a couple more attempts to come. 6 heats in total, but only the winner assured of a place in the next round. 6 fastest times. Oznur of Turkey is in lane 2. Aron of France in 3, French indoor champion. Then Marina Zirova of Russia in lane 4. Zirova, 32 years old, 10 years older than the French champion Aron. Indeed, only 2 athletes out there. Oznur took part in the 400 metres semi-finals just an hour or so ago, so has understandably missed out on this one. Aron, though, chasing Zirova very hard down the back straight there. The Russian working hard, running blind, if you like, in the outside lane. Now, can Aron make this stagger unwind to her benefit sufficiently to beat the Russian? The Russian stumbling there, coming off the bend. The French girl coming through, and yes, just at the line, takes it by a metre. The time, 23.
Away they go then, Kacheska of Bulgaria on the inside, going easily up onto the shoulder already of De Angeli, but out in lane 3 it's Koper of Greece, who's gone out to a big lead here, as you would probably expect, the fastest of these 3. And the Greek athlete, very, very powerful indeed. Koper it is, who comes off that top bend with a big lead and comes through to qualify very nicely indeed, 23.58. Kacheska second, De Angeli a very tired, and why not, a very tired 3rd. Koper looking good, and that's the last of the live action we will be able to bring you here today from the Globe Arena in Stockholm. Been a good and bad day for the Brits. Judy Oakes just missing out on a medal in the shot put.
Personal best indoors for Ladejo, who we know to be in good form outdoors already. I know young Mark Hilton, and any more confident, he just needs to beat the Americans come the summer. On top of Europe yet again. Defended his title successfully then, Dwayne Ladejo, the 25-year-old Quite a character, Ladejo, has his own TV show back at home. Voted Britain's most eligible bachelor by a leading style magazine recently. So Italy takes bronze, and Thrush Saba to go with his gold medal that is for him from the Italian Indoor Championships, but gold in the 400 for Britain.
Well, you can see there the final times for the women's 1500 final, won by Sacramento, and this time 1,352 points, 88 points ahead of Dvorak from Czechoslovakia. Magnussen, who led through most of the early events, now finds himself in third place. Alex Kruger there, falling back to 11th after the pole vault. And the final event will be the 1,000, which takes place later this afternoon.
Next to go in the high jump, Bolsheva of Moldavia, cleared 185 first time, and goes clear there at 189 rather, without any problems. Just glancing over at her coach there.
Well, there you see the lineup for the next final to start in the field very shortly. Will be the triple jump for men, and maybe another chance for a gold medal for Great Britain. Francis Ajipong, whose name you'll see come up shortly, will be last to go. There he is, that led the qualifying with the new personal best, indoors 1697. 30 years old now, Ajipong. And he will now be looking forward to that final. And the next one on the track is the 200 meters for men.
Athletes out on the track. They have had a good championships. And Spokos, the unlucky man with that inside lane for this 200 final. Eriksson, the Swede, quite likely to produce gold for the home country here. There's Spokos and Alexopoulos, his teammate, who's a 24-year-old Greek champion indoors. His fiancée is an international javelin thrower, Karotopouzi. Then Vaimeers of Belgium, Belgian indoor champion over 200, and took the outdoor title last year as well. And he too a semi-finalist in this event at the World Indoors in Barcelona last March. So a man who's beginning to gather more and more credibility, if you like. But this man starts here as pretty strong favourite. Torbjörn Eriksson, the 24-year-old. You can hear the reception the crowd are giving him. Out in lane 4 he is. Swedish indoor champion 3 times. Quite short, ideally built really for these tight indoor bends at 1.70 meters. So the men's 200 meters final then. Championship record 20:36, unlikely to be threatened, as this is a track which has proven very, very stubborn to produce fast times over 1 lap at least. Ladejo showed just 15 minutes ago or so that over 400 is no problem. Spokos in 1 for Greece, Alexopoulos in 2 for Greece, then Vaimeers for Belgium in lane 3, and Eriksson, the hometown favourite, in 4. Well, second gun there. The runner's a little reluctant to come back. Didn't spot who created that break. Well, let's just hope there aren't any more mice in the works. Yes, they've had all sorts of problems with the starting of various events. Even middle distance races have been recalled a couple of times over the last 2 days.
Well, the home crowd will definitely be hoping for a win by Eriksson. I can't really see who got that false start there, to be perfectly honest with you, Tim. That looked like a clean start. Nobody with any real advantage, but it seems as though maybe Spokos may have been charged with it. He shakes his head and can't quite believe that. I think Eriksson, to be honest, is going to have it.
Well, he's got to absorb that pressure and respond to it positively. Very slow to get down into his blocks here. Almost a full house now. in Stockholm for this men's 200 metres final. Sibokos and Alexopoulos in 1 and 2 for Greece. Weimers, the Belgian, in lane 3 will be chasing down Eriksson, the Swede, in lane 4. Away this time, Weimers starting very fast indeed, homing in on Eriksson there on those 2 outside lanes. The Greek Alexopoulos in lane 2 has also started tremendously well down the back straight. It's going to unfold on this bend. Weimers so powerful, but look at the Greek Alexopoulos coming down the straight, and Eriksson comes back at them so close at the line. My goodness, I think the Greek taking it there. Alexopoulos from lane 2 stole it on them round that second bend. Weimers holding a finger aloft, so was the Greek. They're both convinced they've won, and certainly I don't think Eriksson was taking gold. The medals decided between those 3, with the crowd roaring Eriksson home to no avail. Steve, who's your money on?
Well, you know me, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, it could be a dead heat. Eriksson, I think, really has to be congratulated on a cracking race here, under pressure early on from Weimers on his inside. Alexopoulos working hard to try and stay with the Belgian, but you could expect at this point, look at that, very close. Just watch none of them going onto the line, especially Eriksson under pressure there. And as he came down here on the boards on the near side, I thought for a minute he might get there. And just well, we're not going to see from this picture, are we? But maybe Weimers, I'm very surprised that Alexopoulos is so confident to have gone out with his arm aloft, because I think now, and we're hearing, Weimers is the man who's won the race. Alexopoulos second, Eriksson third, 21.04, and the Greek will have to swallow a little bit of humble pie, and he does. That's good to see. Comes across and shakes the hand of the gold medalist. Cracking race. Men's triple jump final getting underway here. Lars Hedman of Sweden. And a disappointing start for him. As I said, Francis Ajipong headed up the qualifiers for this event. And over in the high jump, Astafay.
Astafay then with a bar at 1m89. 2 women clear at this height. We've already had a casualty. Kovachikova of the Czech Republic is out. Oh, Astafay very much is still in. Came in at 85, clears 89, no problem.
The medal ceremony for the women's 1500 final with a new personal best, and race which really built up as it went along. Started out fairly slowly. Georgiou of Romania picked the pace up gradually as they went through. And then Sacramento turned it on over the last 250 or so, moved herself out nicely into an attacking position. With Podkope over here, 43 years old now, did not give up. The defending champion put up a sterling fight. And really probably just lack of pace now as she gets older. Not able to live with Sacramento's speed there. But still has the strength, still has the head to put herself in the right position, and she did that. 43 years old. And the pole, Ritz coming through for the bronze medal there at the end in a dive for the line involving 3 or 4 athletes. So gold to Portugal in the women's 1500, silver to Russia, and bronze to Poland. Well, just before the national anthems, we'll take a short break, and we'll
take gold by 1/100th of a second in that thrilling 200 metres final. Look at that, just 3/100ths of a second separating first from third. Eriksson taking a bronze for the home country, 21.07.
First round in the men's triple jump, Selichenko from Russia. The next to go, currently being led this competition by Bruziks from Latvia with his first round effort of 16.75. Only 3 men have jumped so far. Georgiev of Bulgaria, who took part in the long jump earlier on this weekend. Fairly disappointing 16.18 for him to open with. And the standard, you have to say, of the jumping events probably hasn't been quite up to scratch. It may well be the speed of this runway here. Selichenko 17-meter man, but not on this occasion. So over to the track we go for the next final, the women's 400. Ionela Telier from Romania, inside Grit Breuer of Germany, Chebykina. 27-year-old now, the Russian, and you would think she's going to have a little bit of work on her hands here to handle Grit Breuer if Breuer is going to show the sort of form she's been showing all winter, as indeed she showed in the semi-finals. Chebykina just running. Arnie Holm from Sweden, going well this year, at the age of 31. At the age of 24, Grit Breuer back after 4 years away from the sport with a drug suspension after the cracking season she had back in '91, and came back with a vengeance to World Athletics in the Berlin Grand Prix last year. Kotlярova, now this is a name for the future. Got the outside lane, the 19-year-old, with Breuer inside. I would expect Breuer to go out hard. Kotlярova, the European junior champion from last year, progressing very, very quickly. Another one who was just outside her personal best, qualifying for the final, and she would be looking probably to hang on to the tail of Grit Breuer in this race to maybe drag her around close to the 52-second mark, because I expect Breuer to run low 51s here. She looked very, very strong in qualifying. Powerful looking athlete, Breuer. So the full lineup then: Tatiana Chebykina of Russia on the inside, Telier of Romania in lane 2, Grit Breuer of Germany, the red-hot favourite here, in 3, and Kotlярova of Russia, the youngster, 19 years old, on the outside. So where they go then, the women's 400-meter final. Grit Breuer already moving up on the young Russian outside her. Telier has gone off fairly steady there. Chebykina making ground on her, but expect Breuer to come off this bend in the lead through the first 200. Looks to be taking it fairly conservatively here, Breuer, not storming away too fast, but there she goes. Kotlярova, the Russian, and Chebykina just there as well, but they're not going to be able to live with Breuer, I don't think. 24.09, that's very fast through that 200. She accelerated up that bend, is moving away down the back straight now. Chebykina giving chase, but looks resigned to fighting for that silver medal with the youngster Kotlярova, because Grit Breuer of Germany, the favourite, the expected winner, storming away down the home straight. A good battle going on for second. Kotlярova coming through to grab the silver. 50.81. What a run by Breuer. New personal best for her. A cracking race there. Breuer back with a vengeance, looking good. I said I think she would run low 51s, and she's gone beyond that. Grit Breuer in cracking form. Kotlярova, the youngster, coming through for silver, but a powerful performance there, Tim.
Well, that race mirroring the men's race, Steve. The challenge of the first lap withering on the second lap as Breuer turned it on and powered around that final bend. 50.81, incredibly fast time there from Grit Breuer, easily the fastest time in the world this year, bettering her own top-ranking time. And yes, I think Kotlярova there maybe just stealing the silver from her teammate on the outside. Well, that's a replay of the high jump just a few minutes ago. The young Swede Bergqvist going clear at 189 first time, so at the moment she's first equal in that high jump. But on the track, Grit Breuer is back, just like Dwayne Ledejo. She's been away slightly longer, is the story, a more complicated story hers, but she won.
Well, there's confirmation very quickly. Not only Breuer winning, but Kotlярova coming through for that silver medal, just 100th. That's also, and a very, very close finish. Probably the best race we've seen in these. Coming home with the bronze medal there.
At the second attempt for Denmark. This is Monica Yaga of Romania. She too has had one failure at 189 in this women's high jump final. Long way to go yet before the medals are decided. But Astafai, of course, very, very strong favourite in this one. So Yagar, over she goes. Only one woman has had two failures at this height now, that's Sergeyina. And just one casualty at the previous height, 185, was Kovachikova. But Yaga here, only 22 years old. Romanian #1, and thanks to, ironically, the departure of Alina Astafai to German nationality. Next to go. Yeah. Cole Jankovic. Yes, and she too clears up the little mess she had over in the first attempt. But costly, these early errors when it comes to deciding positions in the latter stages. May not affect the medals too much for some of these women, but certainly it could affect whether or not they finish 4th, 5th, 7th or 8th. The likely medalists will not fail heights just yet. 5.35. Sergeyina. This is the only woman in trouble still in the competition. .181 tall, 5'11". Not particularly tall for a high jumper. Personal best is only 191. But goes over there on the third attempt. A height just 2 centimetres off her personal best. That's her outdoor personal best. 194 she's cleared indoors. So I guess that explains why she's not looking too happy with herself just there. Even gives that one a little clip. I think we'll see her struggling at the next height, 192. From now on, it will continue to go up in 2 centimetre increments.
4th in the European Junior Championships last year. Progressing very quickly indeed. And for a 19-year-old, looks to be a very strong young man indeed. Well, a bit of a bicycle kick at the end there in the last phase of the triple jump. Gavrilenko, not particularly fast on the runway, powerful looking. And it's funny to compare this. There you see the bicycle kick at the end there, which trying to maintain the momentum of the triple jump. And if you've been watching, as I'm sure fans have, the likes of Jonathan Edwards last year, then obviously it's all about rhythm and transferring that speed on the runway into distance. High jump men, this is an event which took place earlier on today. And a surprise win there for Topic of Yugoslavia, clearing a new personal best for him of 2:35. And some of the big names, including Britain's Dalton Grant, having a disappointing competition, and Grant, of course, not even qualifying for the final. Topic cleared 2:33, along with the only other man to do so, Pomalainen, who kept up onto the rostrum there. Hasn't been in this position before. And look how happy he is, going to receive applause, especially from the far corner of the stadium. All the Greek flags are waving. As I said, anyone doing well from down that part of Europe, with all the problems that have been down there in the recent years, very warmly received. So Topic there with a new personal best of 2:35. That's the sort of height you would have expected to win the competition, but probably not this man. Another man who excelled himself, Pomalainen of Russia. Big smiles from him, 2:33. Had a best this season of 2:28 coming into this event, so a real jump forward in terms of form for him. Kamalainen getting the silver medal. Two very, very happy men there. And you've probably just got a glimpse of Steiner Hearn standing next to them, and contrast that face. One of the favourites coming into this, and a surprise for him to find himself probably in the bronze medal position. And disappointment showing in all his body language. A polite smile and a thank you. Never mind, he said. Better luck when I come back in the summer, maybe. All eyes for him and all of the other world's top high jumpers, obviously, on Atlanta. But disappointment for Hearn, but for Topic, gold medal for Yugoslavia. Well, Topic savouring the moment. Note written there, not sure what it said, couldn't read it from this distance. I hope it was a personal one to somebody watching rather than anything a bit more serious. And Topic there, Yugoslavia's first gold medalist of these indoor championships. Next event on the track is the men's 3000.
Just 9 men in this straight final of the 3,000 metres, 15 laps of the track ahead. The title held by Baumeister of Germany, but he's not here indeed. No German in this race, so a new champion assured. The Spanish, traditionally very, very strong indoors in the middle distances, have 2 representatives here, but surely the outstanding favourite is Eric Dubout there of France, at the bottom of that list, wearing number 196, the left of picture. Superb runner last year.
In sharp form as well, a personal best in qualifying for Francis Adjipong. In the triple jump, first round. And a good effort from him. Currently being led this triple jump final by Bruzic with 16.75, and we'll give you Adjipong's distance very, very shortly.
Continuing through this 3,000 metre field, Christophe Impens, world-class Belgian man, over 1,500 and 3,000 with a best of 7:49. As already seen, of course, his teammate Vaimir lift gold in the 200 just a few minutes ago. Papoulias of Greece, well, a 7:44 man, Papoulias, the 26-year-old. New name on the middle distance circuit, had indoor form not reflected by his outdoor best, that's for sure. Kent Kleisen of Sweden. Away they go then. That's a staggered start just to avoid too much pushing and shoving, but it looks like a very civilized first 100 meters from these men. 2:02 there, going to the front is Atik Nagy of France, a 7:39 man. Real quality runner outdoors, Moroccan born, as are so many of the French middle distance squad these days.
Paco Gianni of Greece in the high jump there, clearing 192, and I can tell you that Francis Adjipong has taken the lead in the men's triple jump. That jump we saw a couple of minutes ago was 16.79. There you have confirmation of that after the first round. Adjipong leading from Bruzic, Holm, the Swede, in third place. So good news there for Britain. And this is Lars Hedman starting the second round off as the men go by in the 3,000. Hedman of Sweden. The personal best is 16.88, so he's going to have to probably improve on that if he wants to get among the medals here today. Well, on that one, figure in the leading jumps. So back we go to this men's 3,000 now, that they come round with 12 laps to go this time, as Tim said. Some very good athletes in here. It's a big Frenchman, Dubout, sitting back in fourth place. So I think Nagy, as Tim said, will have something to say, as will the Spaniards here. So
Well, the dark horse, Steve, very much. The Greek in the lead at the moment. Paniatis Papoulias lives in Athens. Won the Balkan indoor title this winter, but 7:44 is a top-notch time indoors. Probably equates to close to 7:40 outdoors. He leads at the moment. The pace very sedate, 64.1 seconds at 400 meters. We go straight across to the high jump.
Javadova from Slovakia. Failure for her at 192. And obviously with this men's 3000 going on the track for the next few minutes or so, then these field event athletes will have to be careful. Zelenskian of Lithuania here. And, well, no problems there. That was off tape for you. First time clearance, so no problems so far for her. Back into the triple jump. Maris Bruzik just had the lead taken away from him by Francis Ajipon from Shaftesbury Harriers. The Latvian here. Second round. 17:54 is his personal best, so Bruzik's not in that sort of form now, of course, been around a long time, but red flag.
Olteanu then has taken the lead in the 3,000 meters. They went through 1,238. The acceleration being put in by the Greek through the second 400 meter segment, and there it is, 3:10 at 1,200. So the pace has stepped up somewhat.
Iago going clear at 192. Failure for her at 189 with the first attempt, so that might count against her later on, but pace being kept going here in the men's 3000. Good race in prospect. Altinu, of course, his wife took part in the women's race yesterday. Interesting to watch Debus there, the big man, the big Frenchman, obviously good 1500 meter pace, but he's a very awkward looking runner, and when you're running indoors it's always difficult for the big man, and he's playing a very cagey race, just keeping himself out of trouble there.
Young Bergqvist in the high jump. Oh no, not a good first attempt there, 192 for her. Crowder clapped her in towards that one. But back on the track, 1,600 metres in 4:14. Olteanu second in this race 2 years ago to Baumeister of Germany. Misjudged his sprint finish there, Olteanu. Should really have taken gold. Rod Finch was third in that one. For Britain,
Georgiev, one of the men who probably you would expect to figure amongst the medals here, not going so well in the treble jump.
So Olteanu still leading from Papoulias to Booth. Slightly awkward looking Frenchman, almost clipping the heel of the Greek. They're in third place, as Steve said. Now they're beginning to bunch as Olteanu slows it down. Does have a very impressive kick finish, Olteanu. The Romanian will be happy to slow this down, but it's dangerous for the men behind him. And the Spaniards getting frustrated with it. Jimenez moving through there into third place as the Greek takes up the running. Dubus at the moment at the back of the field. He's all over the place. 2 or 3 laps ago he was at the front. He stumbles again there. He's running a very untidy race. I think he'd actually be better going to the front and pumping it out hard, don't you, Steve?
Yeah, he's just too big and clumsy, Dubus, and he really either needs to be out wide or at the back, and now he's doing the right thing. He must have an earpiece in there listening to us, Tim, and putting himself in a good position. Bolshova from Moldavia at 192. Failed the first time. Second attempt. And problems now for her. 2 failures at 192.
4 laps to run then. Papoulias. Well, what a shock it would be if he could take gold here, or a medal even, although on paper, very fast indeed. The Spaniard moving to the front is Jimenez, and again, you can see Dubus on paper, who should really wipe the floor with this field. Back in 7th place now. It's such an untidy race. Jimenez moving wide to let the Greek through. He wants to be on the leader of the shoulder of the leader, but he doesn't want to actually lead, and he's running a canny race, the Spaniard.
He is. They're good at that. Aselichenko of Russia not progressing in the triple jump at all. Yes, the Spaniard's very good indoors, lots of experience in showing that here. And this could be one in which the Spaniards are going to figure heavily. Dubus has been all over the place. He's been in, he's been out, he's pushing, he's shoving, and if he gets anything out of this, then he's done well. He's beginning to look as though he's getting tired here as the Greek starts to pile the pressure on.
Still anybody's race, though. Nagy, the Frenchman, looks to be the only casualty, if at all, towards the back of the field. But with 2 laps to run, Papulias holds the lead, although he's been passed now by Olteanu and Jimenez, both leaning in on each other there. Olteanu, the Romanian, holding that inside line, running the shortest line and in control at the moment, but Jimenez perfectly poised, and he's in very good form. A 340, 1500 metres recently indoors behind him. Now Impens forces himself into the frame. The Belgian, inspired surely with the performances of his small team at these championships so far, takes the lead, and this really has broken it up. The hammer is down, approaching the bell. Impens from Jimenez. Olteanu in 3rd place. Papulias forcing himself back into the picture now. And Dubus has left it very late to mount his challenge. He's out of it, back in 5th place. Jimenez at the front, checking all around him. Looks to have a gear in hand yet. And Impens and Olteanu look to be flat out there. Jimenez really has taken it by the scruff of the neck on his final lap and run. Such a clever race. Dubus is out of it, but at the front, Jimenez staying ahead there, checking around him. Impens comes through for the silver. Good running from him, and Papulias just snatches the bronze there from Olteanu, who was tiring down the back straight and his legs went away from him in the run-in. But great running there from those men. Wonderful pace over the last 400 metres, and Jimenez, Steve, yet again underlining the Spanish strength in middle distance running, not only physically but intellectually as well. They run so smart. They do, and I think the experience of running indoors really showed there. Jimenez coming through for the victory. Arne Holm of Sweden going out in the triple jump 2nd round here. 16:46, his 1st round effort in 3rd place. From Gothenburg, Holm, and of course the Swedes having a good championships here. He's having a good season. 34 years old now, the Swede. Victoria Seryakina, 1 failure at 192. Now 2 failures at that height for the Russian. 16:60 for Holm. Stays in 3rd place. That's an improvement for him. Well, here's a slow-mo of that close-in at the 15 of the 3,000 metres. Jimenez using that newfound 1,500 metre speed to hold Impens at bay, but that's a sterling run from the Belgian. It was really run above his recent form there. He might have run 7:49 before, but his form this winter has been mixed. Papulias taking the bronze. The medal ceremony now for the women's 400 metres. Grit Breuer of Germany blew them away in this race. There you see, 50.81, what a run that was. Olga Kotlярova, look at that, 51.70, knocking almost half a second off her best. And the great Irina Shevchinska still looking good. From Poland, of course, great Olympic champion of the past. She will be presenting the medals, and the gold goes to Grit Breuer. It was a nice feeling to have again, she said, almost like a private photo session for me alone. Well, I haven't heard a quote like that before. Somebody's won a gold medal. The lane was, of course, the best here, and I wanted to run very badly under 51 seconds, and it's hard to say now, but I think a very low 49 time for the Olympics this summer will do to win the gold medal, and at the moment she looks capable of that. Now this young lady here, 19 years old, Kotlярova, as I said, knocking half a second off her best time. European junior champion in 95. Kotlярova has looked good, improving all the time. It shows that she's got what it takes for the big match. Wasn't frightened to take on her compatriot Shevchinska, much more experienced and faster on paper. But a big move forward for her. Tatiana Shevchinska gets the bronze medal. Maybe slight disappointment for her. She was never going to beat Breuer, of course, in this sort of form.
maybe didn't expect to lose out to the youngster for the silver medal. But Breuer looks good as we look towards Atlanta in the summer, and if she continues to keep improving at this rate, then low 49 certainly look within her grasp. An emotional grip.
It's interesting. I think everybody has their own opinion on it, Steve. He has fought generally once a punishment has been served out for a doping offence. Very forgiving. The athletes can come back in once the sentence has been served and start winning gold medals. And in my book, that represents quite a lot of generosity. Bergqvist goes over there. At the 192, the second attempt, waited a long, long time while that ceremony and German national anthem rang out around the hall. And my goodness, she sold herself for that one.
Well, that equals her personal best. Just 19 years old, Bergqvist. Second in the World Junior Championships back in '94, losing that final in a jump-off. Kettle Hansfield in the triple jump. Still being led by Francis Ajipong.
Confirmation of the result of that 3,000 then. Jimenez, 7:50.06. Just a stride ahead of Impens of Belgium. Another medal for the Belgians, that's good. And Papoulias of Greece taking a hard-earned bronze medal there. Did a lot of the leading, controlled much of the race. Dubus back in 5th place. Has to be disappointed with that. And it again just underlines his consistency when there are medals up for grabs, although he's so strong race after race. He's going to have a battle royal here with Jarte, or so it looks on paper.
Olga Bolshova, third attempt at 192 and goes clear. Wow. Crunch time for her there. That would have been a real disappointment for her.
There's Youngman, winner of her semi-final in 2-3, qualified quite comfortably ahead of Formanova and Ella Kovac. And Youngman, on paper, second fastest in the field. Patricia Jarte-Taillard has been in very good form, setting a series of French records, 800 and 1,000 indoors this winter, and of course a World Championship medalist outdoors. Graf of Austria, then Kovac, very experienced Romanian, who was only third in her semi-final, but they were close races, both semi-finals. Mastakova maintains the Russian challenge in this final, a 1:59 athlete. She's the fastest in the field, in fact, Mastakova. And then Formanova on the outside for the Czech Republic, completing the lineup. Should be a fascinating little clash this between Youngmans, who's found a rich seam of form in recent weeks, and Jarte-Taillard.
Yes, I expect Jarte and Youngmans to be fighting this one out, but Mastakova won't be far away. And be interesting to see who decides to take the pace up in that 800 final. And looking across to those athletes to see where they're going to start.
Away they go then. Youngman's going off fast on the inside with Jarte right on her shoulder, but moving across very quickly from the outside. 5:28 there, that's Mastakova, who takes control now. Bit of pushing and shoving there, shuffling for position. Jarte running wide, staying out of the trouble at the moment, but now Youngmans has the position she wants on the inside there, although Mastakova is leaning in on her a little bit there as they come through 200 metres. The pace, pretty sensible, 29:53, and Youngmans just where she needs to be. She's quite happy running from the front. Youngmans has got strength and confidence from her recent races, and the others are going to have to try and take it away from her, take the initiative away from her and spoil her race, if you like.
certainly. If there's any criticism of Jarte, sometimes she does get herself in awkward positions, but she's in a good position here. Got her eyes on Youngmans, who's trying to control this from the front. A steady first 200. Mastikova in a great position just on her shoulder, but I'd expect her to want to force on maybe on this third lap, and Jarte will be keeping her eyes on those two. But Youngmans at the moment taking them through 461.
Well, the pace of that second lap slowed somewhat. One senses it picking up now, looking aggressive down the outside is Stephanie Graf of Austria. And Youngmans realises that the others are challenging for position as they approach the bell now, coming into the straight for the penultimate time. Youngmans has hit the hammer. She's really accelerated hard there. Off the back is Kovac already, but Mastikova goes through at the bell to take the lead. Is Youngmans going to see an upset here? Mastikova, the Russian, kicks into the back straight now, and there's daylight already between her and the Dutch girl. Back in third place is the Czech Formanova, and Jarte coming through now with a late challenge, but they're on the bend and Mastikova's in control. Youngmans moves wide, Jarte follows her. The Russian looking very tired on the inside, trying to hang on, but look at Stella Youngmans against Jarte. This is what we expected. The strength of the French girl brings her home for gold. Youngmans just losing out there in the last 15 metres. A perfectly timed late rush there from Patricia Jarte-Tallard, and France strike gold at these championships. Jarte, the 25-year-old who was in supreme form throughout the season last year outdoors, in fact just missed out on a medal at the World Championships with 4th place, but set a marvellous French record of 1:56, somewhat faster than Youngmans, a couple of seconds faster outdoors, and has looked very good. She's had a busy racing season, Steve, and it's been rewarded there, if you like, for both these two with those medals.
Good run there by Jarte. I think she can give a little vote of thanks to Mastikova, because I reckon if Mastikova had not gone around Youngmans and Youngmans had managed to stay in the front on that last lap, Jarte was quite a few metres down and maybe wouldn't have been able to haul Youngmans in at the end. The high jump continuing.
And that's the second athlete to leave the competition. Golodnova goes out at 1:92. Just 2 women out, though, at this stage. There's still 10 women in it. Devyagina would like to remain one of those athletes still in the competition. A third attempt for the Russian. No, out she goes as well. So both Russians out. Medal ceremony coming up for the women's long jump competition. Renata Nielsen taking gold there for Denmark. Won a competition, it was 6:76, the winning distance of Nielsen. Gold for Denmark then. And a very good contest as a contest, although maybe the actual distances, as Steve said, a little disappointing, but that runway not doing the athletes any favour throughout this weekend. Nielsen there, delighted to lift gold. If she can transfer this indoor form to the outdoor season, well, anything can happen. Women's long jumping not particularly strong in depth on the world scene at the moment, and the medals at the Olympic Games won't necessarily go to people over 7 metres, could well be won in around 6:85, 6:90. Second place there, Sinakova of Russia, 6:75 she produced in the 4th round, to lose out from Nielsen by just 1 centimetre there. Couldn't have been closer. And in 3rd place, again just 1 centimetre down, 6:74. Gerhardt of Germany looked superb in qualifying, good in the actual final, and can't be disappointed with that Gerhardt. 6:74 coming in round 5. She only had 3 valid jumps. So the Danish national anthem about to ring out around the hall as we see Gerhardt receiving her bronze medal in the long jump. We'll be going to break. Stay with us. 5:92 here. This is Javad of Slovakia. struggling there, Javad. That's her third failure at 192. Out she goes. This height proving to be the downfall of several of these women. That's 4 of them out now at 192.
Nieva in the men's triple jump. As we come towards the end of the second round, still being led by Francis Ajipong with 16.79 from the first round. Nieva won't be troubling that. He's had a couple of no jumps. Ajipong going very well at the moment. Just leads by 4 centimeters, in fact, from Bruzik in second place. And third at the moment is Arnie Holm of Sweden. So the 30-year-old Shaftesbury Harrier heading towards gold, but it's early days yet. And the women's high jump starting to come towards the climax. And failure there for Jancevic. 3 times at 192, out she goes.
5 women out at 192. My goodness, only Bolsheva successful with a third attempt at that one. 4 other athletes have cleared it.
Well, Ajipong will be next to go. There he is on the runway, enjoying the attention given to him by a big crowd here this afternoon. His sister Jackie, of course. One of our top 100-meter hurdler, but Francis here in his own right with a chance to come away with something in the second round, and a good one. White flag. Ajipong looking good at the moment, having a good season. Improved from 16.92 earlier on this year to 16.97 in qualifying for this final. Won the 3 years indoors championships this year and won the match against France also. Getting his run up just right. Wow, 16.93, extending his lead for Francis Ajipong. Good stuff. And there you see confirmation of the result of the women's 800 final. Jarte winning for France from Youngmans. Mastakova hanging on for second place after making a bold bid from about 250 out and then dying around the last bend, but hung on there to hold off Foremanova. But gold medal for France.
Back in the high jump, Bolsheva now. Lived dangerously at 192. First attempt at 194. She is second in the jumping order, but Kovačíková out, so each new height she has to attempt it first. Astafy incidentally passed at 192. Oh, good clearance. She's delighted with that. Superb jump from Bolsheva there. What a contrast to her third time clearance at 192.
And Lars Hedman over in the triple jump. Ajipong now leading after 2 rounds with 16.93. Hedman first to go in round 3. The Swede's getting behind him here. But he would have to produce a new personal best if he were to threaten that lead. Red flag indeed. And he knows that he will not be moving on because only the top 8 after the first 3 rounds move through to have 3 further jumps, and Hedman will not be one of those. Now, medal ceremony coming up for the men's 3,000. Held just a few moments ago. Jimenez of Spain winning this one.
Here's Jimenez running by far the most smart race of these men. Impens of Belgium taking the silver medal, as you saw just now in that caption, with a brave run in towards the line. Astafy at 1.94 there. No problem at all for her. So she joins Bolsheva over that one. So Jimenez maintains that fine Spanish tradition in this event. Jose Luis Gonzalez winning the title back in 1988. Also took the bronze in 92, Gonzalez. But Jimenez takes over the mantle of European indoor champion at 3,000 meters from Kim Baumeister of Germany. Yet really to transfer that indoor form of his. He's been Spanish indoor champion for the last 3 years over 3,000. Yet to transfer that to the outdoor circuit. Only 13 in Gothenburg over 5,000 meters, Jimenez. 13-18 man at 5,000. Then Christophe Impens, big roar for him as he steps up. The 26-year-old Belgian indoor champion over 1,500 meters with 3:39 this winter. Used that speed well, just like Jimenez, to come home to snatch that medal. He's had a solid indoor campaign too, but like Jimenez, and I guess it's no coincidence, actually fails to achieve or fulfill his potential outdoors, the potential shown with his indoor form. And one has to say there is probably a pretty good correlation between how much racing you do in the winter months and how much mental and physical energy you save up for those summer months. It's difficult to quantify, but let's hope both of them change that, as we see Papoulias of Greece receive his bronze medal. He's delighted with that, the 26-year-old. New name, remember. Greek 5,000 record holder with 13:28 last summer, but has moved on several steps this winter with 7:44 and now a bronze medal. Wonderful study of away from him in the closing meters. The women's high jump. Back goes Gianni there, clearing 194, and she's having an excellent competition. The Greeks really are going well here. No failures for her so far. And over in the triple jump. Bruzik in second place so far. Seeing Ajapong extend his lead. And again, this is off tape. An improvement for Bruzik, but not good enough to move him beyond Ajapong, so he remains in second place. Zelenskiene has had a smooth ride so far through the heights, as you may expect from one of the favourites here. 194 now. Oh no, gets that one wrong, does Zelenskiene. First blotch on her card so far. She's cleared every height first time. Came in at 180, which is a little surprising for an athlete of her caliber. But looks good at 192. Now then, the men's heptathlon, the final event. Erkki Newell is in the lead, and it's a big lead from Dvorak and Magnusson of Iceland. And to be honest, those three look as though that's how the medals will end up at the end of this 1,000. Alex Kruger back there in 11th place. Two heats in the 1,000 meters. The last event of 7 over the last 2 days. 3 events today, 4 yesterday. And this the first run. 5 laps of the track. And as I said, I can tell you Alex Kruger currently in 11th position. Iaga at 194, first attempt failing. Munkachi of Hungary taking them around in the early stages here of this 1,000. 4 laps to go as they come through. Tamasek from Czechoslovakia behind him. Tamasek and Munkachi currently in 12th and 13th position. As you look at them, the Hungarian 12th, the Czech is in 13th place. But over 100 points between them. So that would represent quite a distance over this event, so unlikely that Tamasek will be able to pass Munkachi. Alex Kruger back in the pack there. In fact, I'm just looking down to see Alex Kruger's not in the pack. He should have been. But he hasn't lined up for this 1,000. Been carrying an injury all the way through, Kruger. It's been a disappointing competition for him. As I said, was in 11th place. We saw him struggling through the high jump yesterday.
So Kruger not managing to get through. Damasek now leading them through.
Bergqvist at 194, first attempt there for the youngster, but no, fails that time. 3 women in clear so far at that height.
2 laps to go then in this first heat of the 1,000 metres in the heptathlon. Of course, these athletes not figuring in the medals. Sebastien Levique from France back in the pack is in 8th place. And this man from Sweden, Patrick Andersson, currently in 10th. And it's been a long, tough 2 days for these men, of course. Decathlon, 10 events spread out over 2 days. Somewhat tougher, but it's a busy schedule on the indoor circuit. It's been slightly more spread out today, with a long pole vault competition with Erkki Newell and Levique going up to 5:45. Levique, in fact, winning that pole vault. But Damasek coming now to complete his 7 events. The big Czech coming round in a reasonable time here. It's a good effort from him. 2:34, he's pleased with that. And the Hungarian Munkachi coming through for 2nd. And then Matsai from Germany, 3rd, followed by, well, Andersson just being pipped on the line by Martin Otto, the other German, and bringing up the back Sebastien Levique of France. So Damasek wins that one, but the medalists will be taking part in the 2nd heat. Erkki Newell leading this event by 88 points from Dvorak, who's 28 points ahead of Magnusson, and that's where we may see some movement. But to be honest, Dvorak is a better runner, or distance runner, than Magnusson, so it's unlikely that the Icelander will be able to improve on the bronze medal position. There's the German, Otto, coming past Andersson.
Linskiene now, 2nd attempt at 194. Good clearance, yes, that's coming to you off tape, and that keeps her in the fight. So that one failure at 194 for her may prove costly. Moneki Yaga back alive now, also with one failure at this height. Outdoor best of only 192, Yaga. Her indoor best is 197 from last year, but 196 this year. So this well within her capability. Very long approach from Yaga. Oh no! Maybe taking off a little too far from the bar there. Travelling across and along the bar really. But that was a good example of somebody who was able to use a long run-up approaching from the right, which women who approach from the left do not have as an option. There's the result of that first heat in the men's heptathlon 1000. Damasek will move up a few places from his 13th place with that time. 6 seconds ahead there of Munkachi. That represents, around 60 points for Damasek, but they are battling out the minor places, as Steve said. So there you see the lineup for the 2nd running of this 1000. Final event for these men. Erkki Newell in the lead after 6 events. 5,352 points with an 88-point lead over Thomas Dvorak. Number 97, you can see, from Czechoslovakia. And Magnusson in the 3rd place. There's Erkki Newell from Estonia. Been very popular here with the crowd, bit of a showman. Nice guy. Missed out on a medal in the World Championships in Gothenburg in the decathlon. Finishing 4th. He had a very poor run in the 110 hurdles there. Dropped himself down from 3rd to 8th on that day. At the beginning of that day, and really didn't quite get himself back in the reckoning. Finished 4th in the end. Dvorak, silver medalist in the World Indoor Championships heptathlon last year. There was Magnusson from Iceland. Magnusson, maybe the people's favourite coming in. He hasn't had too good a day here on the 2nd day, and resigning himself now, I think, to bronze medal, because this isn't his favourite event. Kamara there. Well, he's back in 4th place, but
91 points behind Magnussen. Interesting to see whether Kamara can put some distance between him and Magnussen. But it would be a tall effort. Obviously 1,000, not as much opportunity to extend the points difference than at 1,500. Men's triple jump. Now in the third round, still being led by Ajipong. Eftimi from Romania there. But now back with the 1,000 in the battle for gold, silver and bronze. Being finalised here. Erkki Newell from Estonia. Well, I was about to say he goes into the lead, but Dvorak just eases along the outside. And both of these men, pretty good exponents. Over 1,500 in the decathlon, normally running under 4:30, which is a kind of benchmark time.
Fascinating little struggle this, Steve. Newell will try to hang on to Dvorak for as long as he can. As he said, the Czech will need to finish some 10 seconds or so ahead of Newell to close that gap of 88 points after 6 events. Magnussen, the Swede, in the bronze medal position, has a big margin back to Kamara in 4th place as we go straight to the high jump for Jaga. 3rd attempt, 194. Beautiful clearance. Well, you wouldn't think so, the way she's mouthing off there. Looks a bit frustrated with herself, I guess, there. Knows that if she can clear it that well, that she shouldn't really have had 2 failures in the first place.
Dvorak leading them through. Jabo now moving around the outside. And this man has by far the fastest time, over 1,500. Not surprisingly, he's wanting to move this pace along somewhat. Reasonable pace, 65 seconds through the first 400. Just past the halfway mark there for these men. Erkki Newell now passes Dvorak. So Erkki Newell well on his way to a gold medal here. Magnussen of Iceland just keeping an eye on Kamara there, the big man moving up on the outside. There's Magnussen with a distinctive shaving style, shall we say. Maybe specially designed to win gold here in Stockholm, not managing to do so. Jabo bringing them through here. Jabo currently in 6th position overall. And Iapicchino, the Italian, is jogging around a long way behind, not obviously fancying the task here, so Jabo with a very good chance to move himself up in the rankings. At least 1 place, because Kamara behind him is in 4th place overall. So Jabo, Kamara, Dvorak, Erkki Newell, Magnussen coming around on the last lap now. I don't think any of the gold, silver and bronze positions are going to change at all. Magnussen, the only one who was really under any threat, but he's finished close enough, I think, to Kamara and Jabo, who are having their own private battle at the front, and Kamara is going to win this battle. Kamara wins 2:40, Jabo second, Dvorak, Erkki Newell, arms raised, crosses the line, the gold medalist in the heptathlon. A fantastic performance by him. Erkki Newell confirmed as gold medalist. Sebastian Kamara winning the 1,000, but he will have to settle, I'm sure, for 4th place overall. This man wins gold for Estonia, and a popular victory indeed. Started out with 6.9 early yesterday, at a long jump of 7.63. And Erkki Newell finishing off with a steady 1,000 to win gold.
Alina Astafai then. The bar now moved up to 196. Bolsheva has failed at this height. She lies in 3rd place at the moment. Astafai next to go. Equal 1st place with Bakogianni of Greece at the moment. Astafai has got a little fight on her hands, but in very good form this winter, the German, over 2 meters indoors. As things stand at the moment, incidentally, Astafai still ineligible, to compete for Germany in the Olympic Games. The Romanian Federation have invoked an Olympic charter which places a 3-year transfer period between nations on an athlete, and that's very sad indeed. Oh no. Well, that's interesting. The Olympic silver medalist Astafai from 1992.
Sigurd Nieva in the triple jump. Still being led by Ajipong. Nieva back in 10th place, and this was his effort in the third round, and won't be taking any further part in the competition. Gavrilenko here just before him, improving on his position, going out to 16.58 for the youngster, and that moved him up into 4th place. Not too far away from the bronze medal position held by Arnie Holm from Sweden with 16.60.
Erkki Null then confirmed as the winner of the heptathlon with 6,188 points, a full 74 points ahead of Thomas Dvorak, the Czech taking silver, with the Icelander Magnusson taking 3rd place with 6,069. Null setting a big new personal best there as we see Bercogiani, equal leader in the high jump, and that puts a leader on her own. Out there in front now with Astafai behind her, the Greek jumping supremely there. Equals her personal best indoors. In fact, her outdoor best is only 194, but she's cleared 196 this winter before. Had everything to go for there, having watched the German fail a 196 first time. Now she's in control. 2 Greek records this winter at 193 and 196. She's just equaled that national record. She's very small, powerful athlete, quick approach, only 1.71 m tall. That's around 5'8", which is small for a high jumper. But the 27-year-old Greek leads in the high jump, and Astafai's got to clear the next height.
Francis Ajipong, 3rd round of the triple jump, still leading with the 2 longest jumps so far. Well, I said the 2 longest jumps. Bruzik's in fact in 2nd place now with 16.83, but this man's still leading. Well, not so good there by Francis. 16.93 is best. He knows he didn't quite get it right there, but he's been in good form this winter. And wouldn't this be good if Britain could win another gold medal in the triple jump? Jonathan Edwards exploits, and now Francis Ajipong doing his own thing here at the European Indoors. 3 rounds completed. He sits in gold medal position.
Yes, Francis sitting pretty in that gold medal position, and confirmation there of the heptathlon result after the 7th event. 2 days of competition for those men. Erkki Null, a worthy winner with a massive new personal best there, 6.188, long way ahead of Thomas Dvorak. 74 points the difference between them, and a pretty big gap, some 50 points or so back to Magnusson, who takes the bronze medal, with Kamara in that awful position, 4th place for him. So Null's winter training then given that stamp of approval. Things obviously rolling on well for the Estonian, and he'll attack his training between now and the summer season with renewed relish, I'm sure.
The athletes now on the track for the women's 200 final. Alenka Bikar from Slovenia on the inside, Zlata Georgieva of Bulgaria in lane 2, Erika Sukovska of Czechoslovakia in 3, and then Sandra Myers, 35 years old now, the Spaniard, out in lane 4.
Monika Jager there, just failing at 196. That's her first failure. Still only Bercogiani clear at that height, incidentally.
Alenka Bikar, a surprise finalist here in this women's 200, ran a personal best to qualify for this final in the semi-finals when she was second to Sukovska. Georgieva here from Bulgaria, 26 years old now. Bronze medalist from last year's World Student Games at 200. Now Sukovska, possibly the favourite. Looked good yesterday in qualifying, but not quite as fast in qualifying as Sandra Myers. But she has Myers outside her to watch. The Spaniard, of course, born in America, moved to Spain in 1987. Former European indoor champion at 400. And getting some valuable speed work in here. Myers qualifying with 23.21. Which is not quite her fastest of the year. Which is 23.04. So it's going to be between Myers and Sikoska. But Myers with a difficult outside lane. Sikoska inside her. Concentration there for these women as they now go to their marks. Bika from Slovenia, 22 years old. Georgieva, Bulgaria in 2, Sikovska, Czechoslovakia in 3, and Sandra Myers of Spain in lane 4. Get away first time. Sandra Myers on the outside, Sikoska inside her. Georgieva's gone off very hard indeed, the Bulgarian in lane 2. Georgieva it is going well. Myers having a good run on the outside lane. Sikoska now trying to make up the ground. But Georgieva looks to be running the best bend here and could come up there in the lead. It's going to be very close. Sikoska now moving up as Georgieva fails. It's going to be Sikoska and Myers. Myers getting it on the line and falling in the process, but Myers just getting the dip there. I think what an effort from her in the last 20. Coming up the bend, I think Sikoska maybe was just in the lead as Georgieva's bid failed to sustain itself, and it was Myers who came through late, but goodness me, that was hard, and she may well have hurt herself in crashing to the floor there. 35 years old now, and it looks as though another gold medal for her in the bag.
Well, what an experienced run, really experienced run from Myers there. She did start very fast indeed. Those three women on the outside, Georgieva, Sikoska and Myers, battling down that back straight to try and take the initiative before going into this bend. Myers with a disadvantage, if you like, of running blind. Georgieva had to attack it in that lane 2 with a disadvantage, but started running out of steam here. Sikoska, the Czech, I thought was going to take it. Looks so strong at this stage, but Myers is very powerful and so determined. Dips the better of the two at the line there, and I think actually stole it. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to come to a photo. Astafai at 196 there, successful, but in second place now. Bakagiani, the Greek, remember, in the lead with a first-time clearance. So Astafai has to clear the next height, 198.
Increase how many 800 meters women.
Maris Bruzic in the 4th round of the triple jump now in second place to Francis Ajipong, and a big jump there from Bruzic. Well, look at that, 16.93. And that will put him in the lead on countback, because 16.83 is his second best jump. So Ajipong with some work now to do. The medal ceremony now to take place of the women's 800. Gold medal going to France, and Patricia Jate and Stella Youngmans of Holland. Pleased probably, but slightly disappointed. Lost out in a very good race. It was always going to be between those two. She had to cope with Mastikova on the last lap, moving past her and then going round her again. It was Jate though who came with the final surge. And her quotes afterwards, "Please don't ask me about details." Well, I'll go along with that. The important thing was to win. Maybe the decisive thing was my strength and endurance. Maria Mutola was not overwhelming over 800 indoors, so I think the Europeans are not without chances in Atlanta, but that is far away. Well, if she thinks Mutola wasn't overwhelming with a couple of world records, I don't know what she has to do to impress her, but Jate and the likes of Kelly Holmes certainly will be going to Atlanta hoping to build on these sort of performances to give Mutola a run for her money. Stella Youngmans, another one of those. Youngmans from Holland. And these two good friends, good to see. 24-year-old Youngmans. There's Mastikova. Came through for bronze medal there, and a fairly tearful Mastikova. Not quite sure why. Either joy or disappointment. I would think more joy than anything else, because really couldn't have expected to take these two. I wouldn't think. Mastakova, always likely to get the bronze medal, better than most of the rest of the field. The 28-year-old Russian there, brimming with tears. And Jarte and Youngmans enjoying a joke as we hear the French national anthem. Patricia, Jarte, Stella Youngmans of Holland, De Silva and Svetla. This is Aselichenko. And that was recorded a few moments ago. 1670 moves him up into third. The Russian going well there. You see confirmation of the women's 200 results. 23.15, 23.16. Couldn't have been any closer. Myers just edging out Sikoska on the line with that surge over the last 10 meters or so. Georgieva, brave effort from her. There you see it. Sikoska looking to have it, maybe 10 meters out, but Myers, she's a fighter, 35 years old now, but still with the speed and the momentum there. You could see who wanted that one badly, couldn't you? And Myers falling in the process. Arnie Holm. Well, that's a good there from him. He now finds himself out of the medals. As we jump straight across to the high jump. Second attempt for Monica Iaga, and well, something put her off there. So over to the track we go for the men's 800 final.
Six men then lining up for this 800-meter final. Two Italians, two Spaniards, an Austrian and a Pole. The Italian or Spaniard on the inside, Roberto Parra, semi-final winner, just 19 years old. Very, very big talent indeed. Won the European Junior title last year. There he is, the youngster. Ran a supremely confident and clever semi-final race to win that one. Beat Kaldowski of Poland in that 145 man outdoors last year at the age of 19. So the Italians, the Spaniards rather, with a very, very big find there. Somebody for the future.
Well, Bergqvist there, another one for the future, failing at 194.
Kaldowski then, another youngster from Poland this time. 149 his best indoors, a couple of seconds slower than Parra, the youngster beside him. But looked pretty good in his semi-final, only just beaten by Parra. Then Giuseppe D'Urso, the 26-year-old Italian, much faster than the rest of this field outdoors, but a disappointing major championship record really, apart from the World Championships in Stuttgart back in 1993 when he took the silver medal. He usually leaves his challenge late. The second Spaniard, Andres Diaz, another semi-final winner. The Spaniards taking both those semi-finals. Second in the Spanish Championships to his teammate Parra. Then Michael Wildner of Austria. Big man, they may be useful in the pushing and shoving of these middle distance races indoors. 1.89 the Austrian. And then Longo, second Italian, he only 20, completes the lineup. Never under 150 indoors, but I fancy he'll need to if he wants to win this one. Away they go then. We're assured of a new champion, Loganov, the Russian, not taking part in these championships, who won in Paris in 1994. And going straight to the front there is Diaz. Now, are the Spaniards going to run as a team? It doesn't appear so at the moment. And Parra, who looked so good in qualifying, right at the back of the field at the moment, leaving himself with a lot of work to do. Wildner, the Austrian, well placed there in second place. And as usual, Durso languishing around the back.
Well, nothing too flashy there, 26.34. I've been impressed with young Parra, who is at the back. It's unusual to see somebody so young to take up a position back there. He'll have to move up on the next lap if he wants to give himself a decent chance here, but he's maybe keeping his eye on who he thinks the main challenge will come from, possibly Durso, who he seems to be tracking. That's not a bad idea, but Diaz, who's leading them through, Parra's compatriot, but watch Durso and Parra moving through now, 53.92.
Diaz then doing a very good job from the front. Durso now moving through into second place. Wildner trying to hold him at bay there, but getting himself boxed now as Parra moves wide with just over a lap to run. Still all 6 men in it. The pace has only slackened a little bit on this lap as Diaz begins to look a little laboured there on the front on that bend. They approach the bell. Durso nicely poised now. Good to see him getting it tactically right here. 120 at 600 metres. Still Parra with a lot of running to do back in third place. Looks like Wildner back in fourth place at the moment, coming very wide round the outside. Or is it the pole? It's Kaldowski struggling in third place. Now it's Diaz or Parra there in second place. Durso at the front, kicks into the straight. Has the Italian got it? No, but the Spaniard has. Glances across at Durso and takes a major senior title at the age of 19. Roberto Parra looked superb in qualifying, looked a little unsure of himself in the first 2 laps here, but edged himself into a challenging position and then kicked decisively off the bend there to take the gold medal. The winning time, 1:47.74, just outside his personal best. But Steve, it looks like they've got a real gold medal prospect outdoors there, not just indoors, the Spaniards. What a find.
Well, very, very impressive. Was impressed by him in qualifying, and I said watch for him. He did exactly the right thing. When you're young, follow someone experienced. Durso's experienced. Parra ran just the right, perfect type of race, really. Was happy to be at the back early on. Diaz, you can see, as he was tiring, involved in a bit of pushing and shoving coming off that last bend. But Parra just moved when he needed to move. He used the straights well to get himself out into an attacking position, just followed Durso through, made sure he didn't get boxed, and used an awful lot of common sense for such a young man. Very, very impressive indeed. Ionel Efsemi from Romania back in the triple jump. 6th position so far for the Romanian, and that isn't going to improve that at all. That was a pretty poor effort indeed. Iaga next to go, 3rd attempt now, 196. You saw Bergqvist finally going out. She's failed at 194 once and twice at 196, so she's out now. Iaga, 3rd attempt. Well, failure for her, so she goes out.
Well, another medal ceremony now. Out on the fan, the high jumpers will have to halt their competition briefly, as will the men in the triple jump. For that heptathlon, Erkki Null winning it by a comfortable margin. These medal ceremonies being slotted in very efficiently throughout the afternoon. Not really interrupting things too seriously. Null taking gold for Estonia ahead of Dvorak of the Czech Republic, and Iceland getting a medal through Magnusson to go with the gold in the women's pole vault. Erkki Null then steps up to take gold. Very consistent competition from the 25-year-old. New personal best there by some 160 points there or thereabouts. Good long jumper, holds the world best in a decathlon for the long jump, well over 8 meters, and very fast too. And of course, that's the key to being a good multi-eventer, is speed. That final event, 1,000 indoors, the 1,500 outdoors, almost an irrelevance for the majority of occasions. Thomas Dvorak then taking second place. 74 points down on Erkki Nul. But only 23 Dvorak, and of course will get a lot stronger over the next few years if training progresses well. Took the silver medal last year at the World Indoor Championships in the heptathlon, and ending up in second place again is the Czech. And then in third, Jan Arna Magnusson of Iceland.
First position, bronze medalist, representing Iceland.
Good competition for him. 50 points or so outside his personal best, which is just shy of Dvorak's total, so he must be happy with that. But he too, a real speedster, 10.65 man for 100, and an 8-meter long jumper at his best. So we'll see these men again, I have little doubt, in Atlanta. Erkki Nul probably likely to play the most important part in that Olympic competition, but a winner today. So Erkki Nul then, thanks to great consistency throughout each of the 7 events, particularly in the vault, where his competition really came alive, taking the gold medal there. And a very happy Estonian Erkki Nul this afternoon. Well-proportioned man, 6 foot, 78 kilograms. Estonian indoor 60 meters champion, who set a national record for 60 this winter of 6.72. As we go over to the high jump, where Astafai now attempting 198. In second place though, Astafai. Just 2 of them left in now. Astafai against Bakogianni of Greece. Tall order this. She's got to clear it to put herself back in front. Bakogianni with a perfect card, cleared every height first time so far, including 196, where Astafai faltered to clear it second time. But very, very good championship competitor, Astafai. Very gregarious apparently, very cheerful character, but knows when to turn all that off and concentrate. Oh no. Well, Bakogianni is equal to her personal best at 196. She'll be in uncharted territory when she attempts that height. She's up next.
Aseledchenko in the triple jump, currently lying in third place as we move into the 5th round now. Lead still held by Bruzic, same distance as Ajipong. Well, that won't improve the Russian's position at all. Confirmation there of that 800 victory for Roberto Parra of Spain. Very impressive 19-year-old there, so once again not coming up with the gold medal of Italy. And Koldovsky winning that battle to come through. Diaz in fact was disqualified. Well, maybe a little bit harsh there. He was tired certainly coming into the home straight, and there was a little bit of pushing, but I don't think it really affected anybody in terms of the result.
So Bakogianni then about to attempt 198 for the first time. I half thought she might sit this one out and really put the pressure on Astafai, but then that would only worsen her situation. She'd need to clear 2 meters herself, and there is such a good chance too that the German Astafai will clear this height at one of her next 2 attempts. So a new personal best in front of her then, from the left. No. Small, compact jumper, Bakogianni, and that wasn't too close. Astafai will take some comfort from that, I think, but still in second place, the German. The bronze medal confirmed as being Bolsheva's, the Moldavian.
Triple jump, Arnie Holm. Home crowd trying to get behind him and lift him here. Good competition going on, close competition. Ajipong and Bruzik at 16.93. Holm currently in 4th place. And they may have some improvement there. 16.60 is his best so far. Lives in Gothenburg. And right on the board there, Holm. As I said, Ajipong currently in 2nd place on countback. His 2nd jump not as far as Bruzik's. But Arnie Holm still in 4th place there. 5-time Swedish indoor champion. Well, almost reaching that 60-60. 16.57 in the 5th round there for Holm. So he remains in 4th place. Well, it's been a very interesting competition, this one. You'd think, you think we've been required to win the gold medal would be certainly approaching 17 or over 17 meters. I have 2 men now, neck and neck, if you like, as we go into the final 2 rounds. Martirosyan from Armenia here. 26 years old. New personal best this window of 16.86. So if he wants to get in the medals, he's really got to produce something like that here. 16.40 is best so far in the final. 1 legal jump only. He's had 3 no jumps. Just failed by 1 place to make the final in Gothenburg last summer. Silver medalist in the World Student Games last year. Has a personal best of over 17 meters outdoors. So here he goes then. Martirosyan from Armenia, 5th round in the triple jump. Well, that won't improve his position at all as we switch back to the women's high jump.
Astafai then, up against it, a height she's cleared several times this winter. Her best is 2.04, but 2.02 this winter. No doubt her 5-year-old daughter, Anna Marie, will be watching this closely. Eyes focused, blink of vision on that bar. Oh no. Poor attempt by her standards there. So 1 attempt left, and it would be one of the...
Upholding some of our reasonably high standards in this event. Tony Whiteman of Great Britain and Terry West as well. Terry from Morpeth Harriers done very well to reach the final here. I'm sure he'll be delighted, and those watching back home will be very pleased for him. But Tony Whiteman with a good chance of coming away with something here. Be interesting to see how he copes with it. Looked very, very good in qualifying for this final, did Whiteman. And he's made strongly this winter. Franco Zorco, there's a familiar name around the European circuit, and experienced man indeed. Whiteman may have some problems with the likes of Canellas of Spain. There he is. Former European junior champion, 2nd in the World Indoor Championships, and with the experience of the Spaniards, there will be one to figure with here. And Chekmani of France also. I hope he's got the right shorts on this time. A good story about him, the World Student Games last year. He won with a pair borrowed from a French woman sprinter. So the men's 1500 final gets underway. Starting on the far side, of course, 7.5 laps of the track indoors, and already some pushing and shoving here. Chekmani getting himself in trouble. And the 2 Brits just settling in nicely. Tony Whiteman taking up a good position on the shoulder of the leader, Lukas Vitra from Czechoslovakia. Terry West just pushing Tony ahead of him there. And the Brits just sitting nicely at a slow pace early on here. Peter Philip from Switzerland just finding himself in the front now. But the likes of Canellas, Czechmani, just sitting at the back, watching and waiting. But Whiteman here, Tim, with a very good chance, really, of showing how he's progressing. He's reckoned to be one of our brightest hopes for the summer, to add to the likes of Gary Locke and John Mayock. 62 first lap there, but sitting in a nice position.
Yes, Whiteman doing everything right at the moment. The pace very slow indeed. Now you can see it being slowed down there by Peter Philip, the Swiss, and this field bunching up. Whiteman wants to stay in that position. If anybody comes around him, he's got to get out again and get back onto the shoulder of the leader. At a slow pace like this, as you know all too well, Steve, you've got to be in a position to challenge. Somebody can kick away off the front of this. If you're stuck at the back, then you've got very little chance of doing anything about it. Look at the Russian towards the back there. If Whiteman went now, he'd be struggling and left for dead.
Well, positively pedestrian on that lap, 34 seconds, and it really has come down to a jog, and that's when this sort of thing happens. People start to panic. Canellas of Spain deciding enough is enough, moves around the outside, followed by Whiteman extricating himself very nicely, and this is good to see. Taking the race by the scruff of the neck, deciding it's time to turn it into a proper race here. Moving along the outside, Thomas Ebner of Austria, another one of the youngsters in the field here, who's been improving rapidly. But Whiteman now coming up with 3 laps to go, and Canellas getting himself slightly boxed, doesn't want to have the Austrian leaning on him, using his experience just to give himself some room, some elbow room, and Whiteman is just turning the pace on here. You can see the damage it's doing. Only Czechmani, Canellas and Ebner managing to go with this, and Czechmani moving around the outside, or trying to. Ebner's giving him a shove as well, but Canellas, the big danger probably here. Tony Whiteman for Great Britain out in front here, 2 laps to go. He's done a good job. This is good running, sensible, not leaving it for a last 100 or 200 meter sprint, and he's starting to have an effect here. Ebner has dropped off it. Czechmani's starting to struggle. Only the Spaniard looks comfortable with this. Czechmani having to work hard here to hang on to the pace being set by Whiteman at the front. Canellas from Spain sitting in behind him, silver medalist from the World Indoor Championships last year. Whiteman now, 200 meters to go. He hears the bell. He kicks hard again. Whiteman doing his level best. Canellas from Spain managing to hang on to him for the time being, making his move now down the back straight. Close that gap on the inside. Whiteman now running a control race from the front. And what strength has he got here? Canellas is going to attack him up this bend. Whiteman striving hard for the line. Canellas though, the Spaniard, just with too much ammunition here. Canellas wins it. Whiteman, silver medal. Czechmani third. A great run indeed by the Spaniard. Did everything right, used his experience, but you have to say what a brave effort by Whiteman. You can't fault him for that. Just Canellas with a little bit too much at the end for him, and the Spaniards showing once again their dominance in indoor running.
Yeah, Steve, a clean sweep for the Spaniards then. Parra taking the 800 title, and the gold here in the 1500 meters going to Canellas. Whiteman ran a superb race though, accelerating through all the last few laps. His 4th lap when he took over, 31.24, then he ran a 28.53, then he ran a 27.55, so that was a 55-second 400 meters he threw in there to the bell. But Canellas did have that advantage. He looked decisively better in the home straight, but he was chasing Whiteman, had Whiteman's shirt tails to hang on to throughout that final lap, and that was a very, very mature run from Tony Whiteman. This coming to you off tape, a mature high jumper, and how Astafai clearing 198 at the last gasp, and that could have secured the gold for her. Bakogianni has 1 attempt left at this, so the cream rising to the top when it really matters in that women's high jump competition.
And this is how it stands after 5 rounds of the triple jump. Bruzik's leading, and here he is with his last jump of the competition, 16.93. Same distance as Ajapong, but he has a better second jump, so that's why he is in the gold medal position right now. Ajapong will be the last to go. So Bruzik's here with his final attempt. Oh TMA, well, he may have extended the lead there. He gets the white flag at Bruzik's nose. He's finally pulled one out there.
Première médaille d'or, champion d'Europe, représentant l'Espagne. Winner, gold medalist, and European indoor champion, representing Spain, Sandra Myers.
Another medal ceremony. Sandra Myers getting it on the dip then in that women's race. Myers taking the 200 metres, better known as a 400-metre runner. That, of course, a title that just had to go the way of Grit Broyat this afternoon. But Myers' strength off the bend decisive, pushed herself, powered towards the line, and the last 10 metres just eased ahead of the second-place athlete here, the Czech Sukovska. So Kukovska then takes the silver medal. Can't be disappointed with that, Sukovska. Czech indoor 400 champion, like Myers, happier over 2 laps. But obviously her speed work going well in this winter period. And in third place, Bulgarian Gorgieva. Some way down on the pair who took gold and silver. That was where the fighting was all about. So another medal for the Bulgarians then, but gold to the Spaniard Sandra Myers in the 200.
Well, just one more track final for you. Today will be the women's 60-metre hurdle, so we can show you how the finalists got there from earlier on today. This was in Heat 1, Carla Tuzzi of Italy, on the inside there. And lining up in this heat, you can see there Bukovic from Slovenia, who's probably the favourite to take gold medal. Picaro of France also. Bodrova of the Ukraine didn't start here, so just 3 women in this heat here. Bukovic out very fast indeed. She's been in good form all through the winter, Bukovic, and just showing that here. Picaro of France also qualifying, first 2. Well, in fact, it was the winner and the 3 fastest losers who went through, but first 2 turning out in this heat. Bukovic, well, 7.96, stamping her authority on this event and putting herself as favourite. Possibly the person who may give her a run for other money, or for her money. Patricia Girard of France was in the second heat, alongside Susan Smith there of Ireland, who in fact didn't start, as you can see here. There's Girard of France. We also had Domingo of Spain in this one, Birgit Wolf of Germany, and Nazarevien of Lithuania. And Girard again getting out very, very quickly indeed. Very smooth hurdler, compact French woman. Very pacey between the hurdles, and 8.05, not as fast as Bukovic in the first heat, but qualifying no problem. And Domingo of Spain going through, getting second spot there in 8.14. And to round them up, here we see the third and final heat. Monique Touré of France there with Karen Young of Germany. 2 best in this heat, with Tiso of Estonia and Leszynska of Poland making up the lineup, either side of those 2. There's Touré of France and Karen Young of Germany in the middle lanes, and 3 and 4. These heats held earlier on today, in fact this morning. Karen Young getting the best start there, and the German still with a half-metre or so advantage, but Monique Touré coming through strongly at the finish, and Touré it is who wins that heat, but they both qualify for the final. Monique Touré 8.13, you can see the winning time there. Karen Young just 0.03 of a second behind, but Touré coming through fast, so no great surprises there. But Bukovic, the favourite, with Girard of France for the final, which we'll be bringing you very shortly. We'll take a break for a couple of minutes.
Well, you stay with us back live now. Alina Astafai in the high jump has secured the gold medal. Bakogianni failing her third attempt at 198. The little Greek has done superbly well here to take the silver medal, with Bolsheva taking the bronze from Moldavia. But Astafai here having an attempt at 2 meters and 1 centimeter. Well, rising to the challenge in the best possible way with that third attempt at 198 was Astafai. 201, first time. Oh my goodness, so close. I thought she was over that. Jumping against herself here, Astafai. The result, gone to form after all as regards the destination of the gold medal.
The victory ceremony now for the 800 metres of men. Roberto Parra, 19-year-old Spaniard, very impressively winning in 147.74, just outside his personal best. And he will be one to watch in future years. Showed a lot of composure. Not only a man with ability, but also able to put himself in the right place. It's for big competitions, therefore I'm very surprised and very happy. The race was not so hard. First time on the rostrum in a major championship as a senior for Roberto Parra of Spain. And a very good championships as usual for them in the distances. Jimenez, Parra and Canellas winning the 8:50. The youngster coming off the last bend, and Durso having to settle for silver medal here. As you can see, to be on the rostrum, jumps up there. Kaldowski. Probably so pleased he might even keep the flowers. Kaldowski from Poland. Kaldowski, incidentally, knocking almost 1 second off his personal best indoors. And a very...
2 more attempts at 201 for Astafai. World-leading performance this winter is 202. Kostadinova has also cleared at that height this winter. But Bakogianni way down in the world rankings with 196 and has beaten several women here who on paper were better prospects. So Astafai then. Oh no, not as good an attempt as the first. Maybe the sparkle taken out of this now for her, with that gold medal assured. If you understand what I'm driving at.
The men's triple jump. Martirosyan of Armenia there in the last round. And an improvement for him, 16.74, this one coming off tape recorded a few moments ago, puts him in the bronze medal position, taking over from Aselechenko. Now Gavrilenko, there you can see the first 3 positions. Bruzic has extended out to 16.97. That jump we saw earlier on was measured as a 4 centimeter improvement. Gavrilenko now with his last jump of the competition. Just 19 years old, the Russian, been improving all the time. Had a very good winter. Wow, a good effort from him there. In 6th place at the moment. Might not move up too much from that, but Francis Ajipong will be the last to go. 1 more jump to come in that triple jump.
Mixed fortunes at these championships, but surely a medal assured here with half the field made up of their athletes. The favourite, however, has to be Brigitte Bukovic, the Slovenian, down in lane 5. Bukovic, the world number 2 this year, European number 1 indoors, 25 years old. But those French, Girard, Touré and Piquereau will be trying desperately hard to make sure that the gold goes back to France. 184, that's Anne Piquereau. Third 2 years ago in Paris on home soil. 8 a couple of years before that in Milan, so knows all about this feeling. But only 6 athletes out there for this final.
Ajapong last attempt in the triple jump. That's not going to be good enough, so disappointment for Ajapong. Red flag indeed, so he will have to settle for silver medal, but a good competition from him.
And Piquereau then starts in lane 1 for France. 31 years old now, Piquereau, been around a long time, very experienced, very powerful, fast starter who wants to get out well. In lane 2, Maria Jose Mardomingo of Spain. 27 years old, Mardomingo, best of 8.08, and in the form of her life this winter, the Spanish indoor champion. 6-time Spanish champion outdoors. In lane 3, Monique Touré, former European outdoor champion over 100 hurdles, the 28-year-old sister-in-law of one of our French commentators, Marc Maury. Won the match against Great Britain a couple of weeks back in Glasgow. Beside her, her teammate, Patricia Girard. She too fast starting, a very crisp, neat little hurdler. Only 163 tall, very short and compact indeed. She was 6th 2 years ago, but she's the European number 2 this year, and on paper is heading for a medal. Their greatest threat, though, Brigitte Butovic, a real powerhouse, the Slovenian. 7.80, her best time. As I said, the second fastest in the world this year. She starts in lane 5, Bukovic for Slovenia. Very fast outdoors, 12.75 last year over the full 100-meter hurdle. And then Karen Jung, the only German in this race, European number 3, 28 years old, has just dipped under 8 seconds this winter, Jung. Only 3rd at the German Indoor Championships, but has done very well to get this far. No British competitors in this event, incidentally, entered from the very beginning. So the final track event of the championships then. Piquereau in 1 for France, Mardomingo of Spain in 2, Touré for France in 3, then Girard completing that trio of French women, Bukovic in 5 for Slovenia, and Germany's Jung in lane 6. Good start from Girard, great start from Girard. She left Bukovic standing there in the blocks. Now the Slovenian's coming back, and she pours past her, or does she? Girard there just hanging on the run-in. My goodness, Bukovic, not sure what's happened there. Look at that, can't believe it. Had an appalling start. Well, the French coming up trumps, oh did they? Touré there coming through late in the race, but it was all between Girard and Bukovic on the near side, lanes 4 and 5, so I thought. Steve, did you see it differently?
Well, she says, I've won. I'm not so sure. We'll have to wait to see. It was certainly very close on the line. What a cracking start Girard got. Really got out so fast that Bukovic was under pressure right from the start. Just watch this here. There she goes. Great pickup. Small, compact, gets the first hurdle first, a metre or so up Girard. Bukovic now trying to haul her back and does a good job of that. You have to say that she didn't buckle. She just tried to get back into the race now. On the line here. I thought from this side Bukovic may have got it. Let's just see here. No, it's Girard. We're biased on this side. The official result has just come up. 1/100th of a second difference. Girard wins from Bukovic, and that is a popular victory indeed, and a surprise one.
We had to plumb for her. Our 2 French colleagues here on Eurosport sat beside us, both big blokes. That's a nice way for the French to round off the championships. Gold for them. Bukovic will be very disappointed with that. Really wasn't sure prior to that where the medals, the gold medal had gone. But another ceremony now for the 1500 meters.
So this medal ceremony about to take place for the men's 1500, and more silverware for Great Britain. The high jump, Astify finishing there with a gold medal. And the gold medal in the 1500 going to Mateo Canellas of Spain, as many of the Spaniards are. Anthony Whiteman from Great Britain should be... That's nice to see, smile on his face. And a wave to the crowd. And let's hope we're going to see more British middle distance men back on the rostrums around the world in the championships, because it's been a few years of, well, not too many medals really in this event. So Whiteman now.
But many years, Steve, many years since we had you.
Well, it's not that many, Tim. I mean, come on, let's face it. I mean, really, what are we talking about? Many. I mean,
you said it yourself.
A few years. Check Marnie wearing the right shorts this time. What a funny story that was. Forgot to take his shorts to the World Student Games, well, when the final was on, and he won with a pair borrowed from the French women's sprinter. He must be very friendly with her. Canellas of Spain wins a gold medal.
$1,500-meter medals have been dished out then, if you like. The Spaniards totally dominant in the middle distances this weekend. What a champion.